Life's a ride, so let's make it count. Cherish every moment, that's what it's about. Tune in together, we're building our groove. Every beat, every laugh, we're ready to move. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave the troubles behind. This podcast is gold, the treasure you'll find. With every word, we'll light up your day. Join the conversation, let's laugh all the way. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave your troubles behind. This podcast is gold, a treasure you'll find.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Arctic. How are you, sir?
Doing all right. How are you?
I am good. I feel stupid. I didn't realize Doodle was live. I didn't get a notification or nothing. First off, I'd have been there. Second of all, I'd have pushed this ahead a little bit later. So,
yeah, she's been going live about 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. Let's see. 9 would be 10 o'clock your time every day for an hour.
here's the thing. I forget that she's an hour behind me or ahead of me. Either one of the two. So when I look at my clock thinking she was live at 8 something, it's actually 9 something for her. So that's my stupidity. I hope I hope nobody left there to come over here. So if you did, please head back over there, if you will, till she finishes up and come on back. You're not going to miss nothing over here, guys, until I get rolling. We're looking into it is cold case and coffee in a cold case. Sorry for you today. We're looking into Trenton Duckett, and I guess you covered this article, didn't you?
Yeah, I covered that one. It's a sad case, and it's one, in my opinion, that goes to show what happens when too much pressure is put on a parent when a child goes missing.
Yeah. And I have my thoughts. The child's still missing, but you'll see what the deal is with this. Thank you, Virginia. There's a couple people that don't believe what I think most of us believe happened with this child. There's a couple different variations as to what could have happened with this child. It's very sad. And this one again, Arctic, it's weird. First time I saw his face, I looked at it again, and again I saw Quentin Simon. I don't know why I keep seeing that child's face on all these other children. I don't know if it's the eyes or whatever, but it just freaks me out every time I look and see another one. You know what I mean? But again, it's obviously not. And it's just another sad situation. And it's been over 20 years, you guys, that this child's been missing. And there needs to be closure on this case, regardless of what it is. You know what I mean? Whatever the answer is to the situation, there needs to be closure on this for the father, for the families, and for Trenton himself. So it's just really sad. The whole thing is, and it's very, like Arctic said, the pressures of being a single parent and things like that, just in general, it's rough. It really is. So, damn it, I'm gonna have to write this thing down so I can remind myself for her. So thank you guys, all you guys that went over there and have supported Doodle. So for those of you that are in here now that don't know it, she does this every morning. It's called Missing in the Morning, and she goes and she puts up posters and shows different missing people, and she does an amazing job at it. So I would really love seeing everybody over there supporting her. If you're up early in the morning, please do. And I'll make sure to push this ahead more now since she's doing that so that it doesn't overlap. That way everybody has the ability to go do that. And then you can come do this. So, absolutely. She's doing an amazing job with it. And I want everybody to support her as much as they can with that because she needs it for sure. So I felt so bad. First off, wasn't able to be there because I didn't realize. And if I don't remember, if you don't tell me something because of this stupid scar on my head, I have very bad short-term memory stuff and I forget things so quickly. unless I write it down, which is why I'm constantly taking notes. So, like I said, first off, I forgot she was doing it. Second off, I forget our time difference. So I was thinking it, 8 something, which is 9 to me. So either way, um, she's doing awesome, guys. So please go over there. At the very least, go like it, subscribe, share it out, and make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss when she does do this, because she does great with it. I don't know why I'm not getting notifications. Do you get notifications for her, Arctic?
I do.
I don't get it then. I don't get notifications for her. I don't get notifications for you, for mom, and I'm subscribed and all of it to all of you. Why I don't get why I don't get them. So yeah, she does, Stormy. It pisses me off to no end. Um, let's see. Who do we have in here with us today? Miss Taylor, welcome. Good to see you. Stormy, welcome back. Arctic Fox, of course, sitting up here with me. Memories from Life, hello and welcome. Squishy Bum, welcome from over the pond. Nancy's in the house. Nancy Drew, Murder Mystery, Delmarva, hello and welcome. I don't get Klein's notifications either. I don't get any of that. I don't understand that. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, if anything, but Miss Rowena, good to see you. One thing you guys might want to check too, if you're supposed to be subscribed to a channel, make sure you are. And re-click that notification bell, so on and so forth. I've noticed that a lot of people, I was unsubscribed from Duchess's channel. I was unsubscribed at once from Mom's channel. So I had to go back and resubscribe and do all that crap again. So double check that, guys, because that's been a thing. I don't know if you've had problems with that, Arctic, at
Oh
all.
yeah. It happens for sure. Channels that I've been subscribed to for years, all of a sudden I find out that I'm not subscribed, and I'm like, well, how the hell? Because I know I didn't unsubscribe from this.
That's right. That's why I've missed so many of Dutchie's things too, because I don't know. Mind boggles. Good to see you, Miss Peggy. Welcome back to you as well, Virginia Wolf. Good to see you, brother. Good to have you here. Miss Bonnie Bailey, always a pleasure to see you, dear. Thank you so much for joining us today. The last 24 is in the house. Mikey, what's going on? Mrs. T, good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. Let's go down. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Get comfortable, if you will. Please hit the like button and share this out if you could. And make sure that you let everybody know what we're doing in here. Again, cold case. Coffee in a cold case. I keep screwing it up. I see that, Stormy. Congratulations on getting your name back. That's awesome. Captain Jack's in the house. Good to see you, brother. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us, bud. Harsh added an explanation for notification a few days ago. Having spoken to a YouTube manager and had a response that may or may not help. Do you know what it was, Boggles? Welcome, Sunday Doodles. Good to see you. I'm curious because I really would like to see what is causing or not causing that. Anyway, how's your morning going, Arctic, and how's everything today for you?
Better than yesterday by a long shot. Got up, cooked my mom her breakfast, and got her TV set for her on what she wants to watch, and got a couple of shorts out. There may not be a cold case premiere today because I just haven't gotten around to recording one yet. So.
Gotcha. So no water this morning then. That's good. Definitely good. And mom's doing good too. That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Let's see here. Hold on a minute here. Let me say something. Oops. Everybody, sorry, I'm just trying to get some things squared up here. Come on in. I'm gonna wait just a few minutes, see if anybody else pops in here beforehand. But like I said, if anybody was at Doodles or is at Doodles, you stay there until she's done, guys. This was my mistake. I would have never done that, knowing. Um, what did Harsh say, Boggles, about that? Do you remember? Are you talking about harsh reality? I'm curious. If not, I can look it up, of course. But good morning, Miss Kaylee. Good to see you. Also, one moment here. We'll start off with, before we get into our actual cold case as well. As soon as I find it, hold on. Here we go. Jackie Young, congratulations. Welcome this morning, first off, and congratulations and happy day anniversary on 8 months. Great to have you here. We appreciate you very much. Thank you so much for joining us today. Long time meatballs. It's been great. Been a while, but it's great to see you, Jackie. Thank you so much for being here. I want to start off today, guys, with Bella Jackson Aruda. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Missing out of Perry, Georgia. She was last seen January 25th of 2025. And she was last seen leaving the Wendy's business, the restaurant, at 11:36 p.m. on North Perry Parkway. She's driving a gray 2013 Kia Optima 4-door with Georgia tag SIC 7202. I do not know whether or not she has been found at this point, but I will find out, I'm sure. And if not, either way, it's still important to put her face out there until we do find out for sure. If anybody has any information in regards to Bella, please contact Perry Police Department at 478-338-0256. All right. Well, there's Miss Bella. We also have, thank you to Nancy for sending these in again. I appreciate everybody that sends all these over here. It's really important, and I really appreciate it. I get them from different directions, and you guys are amazing for dropping them. This one is Patricia Marie Dudick, 33 years old. Female, of course, white, 5'7" to 5'8", 130 pounds, 135 pounds. Strawberry blonde hair, and blue eyes. She has scars on the left hand and approximately a scar on her left hand that's approximately 1 inch in length. Patricia was last seen on the morning of January 7th of 2002 at her residence in Salisbury, Maryland, arguing with a male acquaintance. She was last seen wearing a tan jacket, dark blue sweater, dark colored pants, black socks, and black Reebok sneakers. If you have any information that could help locate Patricia, please contact Salisbury Police Department at 410-548-3160. This has been since 2002, you guys. So there's some things that are going to be different. If you recognize her face, a lot of people's faces don't change. They kind of have the same look. So, hairstyles change, people age, but the overall look of somebody's facial features kind of stays the same. So I would imagine that Patricia would still have this same look to her face, guys. If you happen to recognize her, please, again, contact 410-548-3165 Salisbury Police Department, and maybe let's bring her home or get some answers to what's going on. Thank you again on that one, Nancy. Also, let's see this here. Sorry. Excuse me, everyone. is Kevin Littale, 59 years old, male, 6 foot even. I'm sorry, 190 pounds. Well, this one's a newer one. Not too long has it been that he's been missing. He may have been found at this point. I'm not sure.
He was unfortunately located deceased.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, horribly. That's horrible. Does it say what happened? No.
That's all I know right now. As there was an
Okay.
update with the Aware Foundation that he was found.
All right. Well, we have an answer on that one. Sadly, you guys. That's horrible. Damn it. All right. Next up, guys, we have. Sorry. Again, Nancy, thank you so much for dropping these over here. I appreciate you very much. An Amber Alert, guys. I don't know if this child has been found yet. His name is Juan Sebastian Maya. Or wait, we talked about him the other day. Okay, same one. Is there anything new on him, Arctic? You know?
As far as I know, he's still missing. I haven't seen any updates on him. And then there's another Amber Alert for a little boy out of Texas, I believe it is.
Okay, hold on. Let me grab that. Is it on your page?
I can get the flyer for you real quick.
Okay, that'll be great. Thank you, sir. You are appreciated. I am doing okay, Miss Kaylee. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Nancy. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. By the way, Nancy, you do a great job with your flyers. I love the way you do those. It's really neat. So, good morning, Mother. Good to see you today. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you had a good weekend. Great to see you in here. Thank you for joining us today.
All right. It's there if you check Discord.
Yes, sir. All right. Oh, cute little guy. All right, bud. Thank you for that. So again, well, wait a minute. This is an active Amber Alert. Mateo Vasquez, 15 months old, brown hair, brown eyes, 2 foot tall, he weighs 25 pounds, guys. And I believe he's with this gentleman here, 25-year-old, brown hair, brown eyes, 5'5" to 5'6", and his weight is unknown. This is out of Texas. Houston Regional Amber Alert's been issued for 15-month-old Mateo Vasquez. He was last seen Saturday, January 25th, 2 days ago, at approximately 5:19 p.m. in the 15,000 block of Greenstone, Houston, Texas. He was last known to be wearing a black sweater, black pants. Mateo Vasquez was also known to be with 25-year-old Jason Irwin Vasquez, who was driving a 2016 dark gray GMC four-door Sierra pickup truck bearing the license number JZY5720. Anyone having any information should contact the Harris County Sheriff's Department at 713-755-7427. Again, that number 713-755-7427. And let's please bring home. This baby is so adorable. 15-month-old Mateo. I don't know what the situation is here, but he obviously does not belong with this gentleman. So, welcome, Miss Wisdom. Good to see you this morning. All right. There is that one. And hold on here. Hang on. We also have I try to, not that they're any different, guys, but I try to put more of the children out if I can, because there's a bit of a, in my opinion, a bit more of a rush to that. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Well, again, we have Alexa Smith, 16 years old. Female, 5'2", 160 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Went missing. Last seen, I'm sorry, January 23rd of 2025, around 11 p.m. In her, leaving her home. I'm sorry, in the 200 block of Guilford Street in Bear, Delaware. She made statements that have caused concern for her safety and well-being. Prior to leaving, she was last seen wearing a black bandana, black sweatshirt, and tan pants. If you have any information in regards to Alexis, please contact the Newcastle County Police Department at 302-573-2800. Again, 16-year-old female. This should be an Amber Alert. I don't understand, but again, this is the way the rules work, guys. This is why we need to, once again, I'm going to throw this in here if we can, put the link up for the petition to standardize the Amber Alert, because I believe, as much as Arctic believes, because Arctic put this together very strongly, that the Amber Alert should not have all the details and red tape that you have to go through to put an alert on a child. Children should, if they go missing from the age of birth to 18, should have an Amber Alert attached to them immediately so that we can bring them home faster. If we can throw that link in there for that again. Thank you, Arctic. Appreciate you, bud. And there it is, guys. Please, if you haven't signed that yet, please do. Very important to standardize that, in my opinion. And Arctic's been working on this for a while, guys. How long has it been since you put that together, Arctic, truly?
It's been at least a year and a half since I put the petition together. And of course, I've talked and testified before my local congressional district and stuff about how important it is that we try to get on the same page to where every child can get an Amber Alert, and it's just a work in progress.
I'm muted. Sorry. Definitely, and it definitely needs to be handled. Like I said, guys, there's no reason to not. There's so much red tape and hoops and stipulations that for different states, for different reasons, it all should be the same everywhere. A child goes missing, if they're a baby or they're just about to turn 18, it doesn't matter. They're still a child. There should be an Amber Alert attached to it right away, and that gets it shortens the time that it could that things could happen in, I should say. The faster they're on it, the faster it you know what I mean, they can be found. So that's my opinion, of course, on that, but it is very true. Okay, one moment, everyone. 1 second, guys. Okay. Give me a second. I'm looking to make sure. Excuse me. I'm trying to check something, you guys. I'm sorry. I need to figure out. Let me ask you a question, Arctic. When you do your posters and you put one out, what do you do to go figure out whether or not they've been found or if there's any updates on these?
Well, the majority of the posters that I put out are from the Aware Foundation, and Kenny usually is quick about updating when they've been found. So I'll just scroll through their page, and there will be a found safe poster or a located deceased poster, and I post that to my page to update everyone.
Okay, got you. So Let me see something here. There it is. There it is. I found it. Okay. That works. And bingo. There she is. Good
Howdy,
morning.
howdy, howdy.
Good
Well,
morning, dear.
morning, Doodlebug.
Great job over there.
Oh, thank you. I stutter. I don't mean to. I just get so into it. I'm just like,
I do it all the time. I
I
was
stutter
doing
all
it.
the time, so don't
Look,
worry about it.
well, Arctic, I think it's because we try to push those shorts out so fast that we turn into super speed reader.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
is, I think.
No, you did a great job. And here my mistake was, first off, I don't remember things unless I have it written on my forehead. Um our time difference. I was thinking, I forget that you're an hour behind me, or is it ahead? I always get it screwed up, but
You're an hour ahead of me.
that's it. You're an hour behind me. So if I'm
Yeah.
thinking it's 8 o'clock for you, it's 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? And I
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
even,
yeah.
wasn't even paying attention.
No,
Said
listen,
it.
that's completely fine because I mean, it's like we're all a community to get these people out.
I
I
know, but
never
I don't like to overlap with you, because I want everybody to be able to focus on you
Yeah. Well, I
100%.
only do mine for an hour, and I do that because some I've noticed that sometimes when people are at work or whatever and they're on lunch break and they just want to hear a few missing, I just try to keep mine right at an hour. So I just do mine from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's it.
Okay. Well, I will push this forward an extra hour from now on to make sure that I don't
No,
overlap with
no, no,
you.
you do your thing, Dago. Don't you change your thing. I'm just starting out here. So
It
this
doesn't
is
matter. I want us both to be able to be seen and heard. That's the problem. And you're what you're doing is super important, Doodle, and it needs to be seen and heard. So
well, thank you. I appreciate
it
that.
will be pushed up for sure to make sure that there's no crossover. I don't want people to have to bounce back and forth, run, look at both of them at the same time. So and so, none of that.
Oh,
So
we
no.
got the same people, I'm sure.
I know that's what I'm saying. I want to make plus I want to be able to be there. That's the other thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See,
And so I will be sure to that. So please, I'm so sorry. I
oh,
felt
don't apologize.
as
It's
soon as Sherry told me, she was like, Doodle's live, and I went, oh my God.
fine.
That's I ran over there real quick and I got to watch some of what you did. You're doing great. I don't know why you're so nervous. You're amazing at it. I promise you, you
Well,
are.
I think it's just an anxiety thing, like because with Klein and with like interviewing with other people, I do so well, but I think I doubt myself so much that it gets like an anxiety thing. But once I get in there, I'm okay. I just got to throw myself in there to do it.
Yeah. No reason to. You're amazing. So don't, I know you're going to do it no matter what, because I get it. I was the same way. Just do your thing because you do great. You really
Yeah,
do.
even if I got one person in there, even if I have nobody in there, I'm still doing it because you never know when that one person's like, "Wait, I know that face," and then they'll,
Oh,
you know,
yeah. And that's my thought too, because depending on what you're talking about, with what you're talking about is very important too. Somebody's going to come back and check and watch that video maybe later, and that person could be that one person that says, "Oh, wait a minute, I've seen that person before." You know what I mean? So
yeah,
Exactly, exactly.
and
that's it.
Especially with these colder cases that she's been featuring in the
yeah.
mornings, but
Yeah.
and PMAs putting out. If that person just happens to see the flyer and say, "Dang, that age progression looks like me," you
Yes.
know,
Yeah,
That's
and it could very well could happen like that because when I was born, like, of course, I'm a '78 baby, so my doctor actually ended up going to prison, and I think it
mm,
was for, like, sales of babies. Well,
oh my God.
my dad swore that I was a twin because the doctor handed me to him and said, "I'll be back, there's another," but there was never another, and the doctor never told him anything else. So I always think about that with these cold cases. What if that's a situation like that where they're like, "Wait a minute, that looks like me,"
Wow.
you know? Yeah.
That's that's crazy. I
So I
never
try
thought
to
of
look
that.
yeah, I try to look at it on both sides. Like, what if you didn't know when you were a baby you were kidnapped, but that's your face,
Or
you
what if
know?
you're a twin to somebody
Yeah,
else that was, yeah, that's insane. I never
I mean,
thought.
you
That's
never know.
amazing.
You never know.
That's see, that's
And
why
that's
you're
what
good
I
at
tried
this.
to do the DNA thing, but I'm one of those rare people that they cannot get my DNA from my saliva. They cannot. They can't. I went through 3 different places. They cannot get it. I've done the swab. I've done the spit in the little container. None. Nobody
Really?
can nobody can get my DNA from my saliva.
That is
That's
crazy.
weird.
I know.
Wow.
And Lisa Joe's like, "Have you considered a life of crime?" I was like, "No, I haven't."
I mean,
I
that's
love Lisa. She's a mess.
that's amazing because that's so strange though. I've never heard of that before.
It makes me wonder if other people with the Rh negative blood type, if that's the issue. I don't know,
Maybe
but maybe because
maybe
it's so rare.
that would explain. You might be an alien. You might be an alien, Doodle.
I just might be. Beam me up, Scotty.
Hey, you said it too. That's why you're so awesome because you're not from this world. See?
If I could just be like ET and my finger would glow and I could fly, oh, you're all are in for it.
But you got the
Visits
toe.
everywhere.
You don't need the finger. You have the toe. Remember?
Oh man, yeah. See, I could be.
Uh huh.
I got an alien pecker toe. Do y'all? I'm just saying. I'm special. I'm special.
Oh God, you're killing me today already. That's hilarious. Welcome, Steven. Good to see you. Absolutely, sir. That's no problem. Welcome. Welcome. Anybody else that has popped in here? Thank you guys so much for joining us. 23 people or 28 people, 23 likes. You guys are awesome. Again, everyone, please, and somebody please drop Doodle's link in here if you will. Jump on over to Doodlebug's channel if you will. She's doing some amazing things in the morning, putting out all these amazing missing flyers to try to help bring awareness to the situation because it is a bad situation. And she does missing in the morning every morning, guys. Please go over if you have not yet subscribed to the channel. Please do hit the notification bell so you don't miss everything like I do because I don't get notifications. That's another thing. I don't get notifications for you, Arctic, Mom, and Dutchy. I don't get them. I don't know why.
Well, I only do it Monday through Friday, but I'm hoping that I can get Preston to do at least one with me so he can read the child flyers.
That would be awesome. Yes.
Because I think that would be more personal to
Yep.
grab attention, especially for our autistic children that are out
Yes.
there missing. Because he would be more apt to like hyper focus on that.
And that personalizes it more too, I think. And I know that's
Yeah.
something you want to do. So yes, that's
Well, I
amazing.
want him to carry this on when I'm gone. I want him to advocate for this when I'm no longer here.
I know he will. I know he will because he's into this. He's been into this since he started seeing who I
Yeah,
was.
but he's like little rocket man because he's obsessed with Elon Musk, and I'm like, come on, guy, come on, just stop it, you know. But he's also he loves history and he loves all of it. Like he's
Right.
just a buff, history buff.
He'll figure out because he's very smart too. He'll figure out a way to make it his thing and make it work that way. I think too. I
Right.
think
And the only reason he likes Elon is because he also shares the Ashburgers. So I think that's why he looks up to him.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing
Oh,
wrong with that.
absolutely not. Love history. Do your thing, boy.
Yep, absolutely. That's good, Cap, because a lot of times that's the only people that are getting a notification is from me is through the Discord. That's why I do it in there. Other than that, a lot of people aren't getting it through YouTube. So, and I'm not getting YouTube notifications for Doodle, for Arctic, for Mom, for anybody. It just pisses me off because if I
Well,
don't get
in my defense, Dago, I do early thumbnails. So hint, hint. Take a look.
I need to do that too, but the problem is I don't know what the hell's going to happen in my day, and I want to make sure I can be there. That's the problem. But I'm just going to start. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to set a time. I'm going to try to do it the night before. Set a time, and if something happens, then I'll just have to fix it and change it. That's all I can do.
Don't stop your life because of my little 1 hour thing. But if you do,
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an early thumbnail, like the night before.
Yes.
I've been talking about doing that anyway.
Yes, definitely, because it really does work out, but you have to figure out like that scheduled that next day. And I think for you that's hard because you have like grandkids coming over. You've got, so it's hard. I get it.
Well, I'm just gonna have to make it work. And then, like I said, if something changes, then I'll just change the live. That's no big deal. But it's a better idea to do it because people know it's coming. You know what I mean? And that's a good idea. So what do you mean they come through Mom's Discord too?
What the notifications? Yeah, because Mom has it to where anytime any of us have something coming up, it pops up on her in her Discord.
I don't get those. That's what I was telling Mom the other day.
You just have to go to her Discord, and then it's all on there.
Oh, okay.
If you look once a day, you'll see everybody that's going to go live. That has an early thumbnail. So that
I used to get Duchess's when she was going to do a show, I would get the alert for it, that notify me thing, whatever. It would make a noise on my phone, whatever. I don't get any of that anymore. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Crystal says she only gets them from me. Well, at least you're getting them. A lot of people don't get them from me. I don't know if it's something new that because of what YouTube has done or whatever, but I just went over and I double checked everything. I'm set for you. I'm set for him. I'm set for Mom. I'm set for Duchess. So we'll see. I don't know. It's just irritating because I like to be there for those shows too, and I've missed quite a few of them. I'm not very happy. Or I come in at the end of it or the middle of it or something. I don't like that. And I know I got things going on in my life too, but I still like to be here for the rest of these cases and channels too. So, okay, thank you, Cap. I appreciate that, bud. Stormy, what did you just say? I thought Elon has always been a robot. He could be. You never know.
I think he's just the cutest little 8-year-old I've ever seen. The way he jumps up and wee, I'm like, okay, he's just the cutest little smart 8-year-old I've ever seen. And Preston's like, he's not 8. He's super smart. I'm like, he's smart. I get you. I got it. But he also loves George Washington. So I don't know. We're all over the place.
That's all good. It's good. At least he's into history. That's important, I think.
History and science is his thing.
The science thing. Hell, he may be the next Elon Musk. You don't know.
I don't know, but he taught me how to make slime. We made crystals. We got all these I got him all these science kit deals from like Five Below. And
Those
he
are
knew
fun.
every one of them. We made rubber balls and all kinds of stuff. It was pretty neat.
That's awesome. That is we used to get Caden some of those things. We get them for the grandkids now. The little kits Five Below has for different things. And Juniper always she's more hyper than Caden was. I almost wonder if she's on the spectrum. I'm serious because
is she hyper like but does she do like the acting out when people are around hyper? Oh, yep. That was Preston's my big red flag was wait, somebody new's here and now what? You went from perfect child to demon child? Why?
Well, you know something else she does that you brought to my attention, actually. She does it more than Caden actually does.
What?
Is how Preston is very like real, you know,
literal.
That's it. Yeah, the literal thing is like I've noticed it's more with her recently. We'll say something to her and she'll look at us and go, "But I don't do that," or I'm not like I'm like, "Judy, we're just joking," and she's like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "Oh no, here we go."
Well, you'll know when it starts getting to where she starts to look like a smart ass and she's not trying to be.
Every day.
Like you get on to her, but she's like, how was that rude? That's
We're already,
it's
already there, dude. It's already there. And we do it every time she's around. She'll say something and it comes off very
smart ass.
Snobby and smart ass. And I'm like, you don't need to talk to people that. She was like, I wasn't being mean, Papa. I was just telling you that this is what it is. And she corrects people when they're wrong about stuff.
Preston corrects my language, my grammar 1,000 times a day. And I just give him the evil eye. Like, one more time, you get my stink eye here, you know?
She's doing it a lot more. And I started to wonder, like, she sounds just like him. And like I said, Caden did his things, but his were different. He was in a different boat with this.
Because she may have Asperger's, not high functioning autism. There is a difference.
Well, I know for a fact because her other grandmother, her mom's mom, her mother was different when she was a child in a lot of ways. Okay. And her mother, her Juniper's grandmother, was not the greatest parent to that child back then. She is now, but not back then. She was into other things she shouldn't have been and didn't realize these things until she got older. And her mother, Jasmine, had a lot of problems in school. She had a lot of problems socially with people, so on and so forth, and it was never dealt with per se. Okay.
There you go.
She still does. If you have a conversation with her mother, you're just kind of like, after the conversation's over and she walks away, you're standing there and you're going, what just happened?
And you know, the sad part is with Preston, my Tyler was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize that because at that time, and because he was born in 98, there is no way at that time that was even a thing. I just thought, my God, why you got to be such a hard teenager? And in all honesty, I think that was it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I've been wondering about Junie. I really have, because it's just so like I said, you brought those things to my attention again. I remember Caden doing these things, but hers is extreme, and it's
We'd
really
almost have to get those 2 talking. You know how they talked that one time on the phone? If
yes.
we could listen, and I guarantee I'd know right away.
And they're the same age. They would have
Yep.
the conversation. I'm telling you, you could just sit and listen to the conversation, and you would know 100% right there. I'm
Yeah,
telling
because I feel dumb listening to this because 'cause they're so smart. It's like,
you.
"Oh my god,
Yes,
wow, okay."
yes, yes. And that's the other thing is she's certain school things that she does in school are boring to her. But she also doesn't get certain things like Caden didn't get.
Yep,
They didn't
yeah.
process. So
Oh, yeah, Peggy, I agree, he is definitely wound up, but then to a little kid, though, that's fun, especially when it shares
absolutely.
the same Asperger's thing, like, to him, that's like, "Oh, look, he's up there, he's somebody," and I keep trying to use Elon to him as not like, "Be like Elon," more like, "Anything you can do, you can make it just as far, son, you just have to try," you've
Be
got to.
you. Yeah, right.
Not that it's like him specifically, but just that
Absolutely.
how far you can go.
Absolutely. That is absolutely correct. Awesome. I don't know. Mama Bear said she had an appointment with one of the kids for the school, and then she'd probably be joining us too.
Okay, I'll probably
Um,
be able to stay up a couple hours because with mine, I don't wanna overdo it where I don't have a voice. So I try 2 hours after mine.
whatever you got, I told you before, you know your limits. Whatever you got to do, dear, it's up to you. How did your morning go? Besides all that,
Great.
Mr. P's good. Everything's good.
Yep, good. It's went good.
How about your guys' weather? Did it warm up for you either one of you two at all
We're
yet or
gonna
no?
we're gonna hit 40 degrees today. I may have to go out there and streak in the yard. I'm joking. I'm joking. Heat wave.
Albeit it is warmer here too. That's really warm actually compared to what we've had. I like it, and the sun just popped out and it's really bright and warm feeling. So maybe some of this crap will melt. Good morning, SRBBBB. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. So, Doodle, I don't know if you're familiar with the name, but we're looking into the cold case for today. Is Trenton Duckett? Is a little boy that went missing over 20 years ago.
Oh, no,
In
I'm not familiar. I'm excited now.
2006, and it's a very sad and weird situation. The whole story is so. Rowena, welcome. Good morning to you, Heather Fitzgerald. Wonderful to see you. Double checking, making sure I got everybody. I did my missing already this morning, and I think I did get everybody. If I didn't, I will get back to you. And all of you that are out there not in chat, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you very much. Please make sure to hit the like button and share this out if you will, guys. I appreciate it so very much. Thank you to the Blue Crew for being here and doing everything you do, because you all know we couldn't or wouldn't or shouldn't do it without them, because it wouldn't happen. So thank you again to all of you. Right, 31 peeps, 29 likes. You guys rock. Let's get this show on the road. No, SRB, you didn't miss nothing. Had to catch up with our Doodle. But you did do great today, Doodle. You really did. So keep up the great work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll get better in time, I'm sure.
I mean, I don't see how.
You're doing amazing just right
You
now.
really
I
are.
mean,
Yes.
Oh, thank
That's
you,
what,
guys.
seriously, I don't see what you need to get better at. You're doing amazing. The
It's just
stuttering
the
is all of
anxiety
that.
part. It's the anxiety, like, right before that I have to hit that live. It's like, I'm just my heart will pound a little bit, and I'm like, "Okay, just stop it." I have done public speaking through work, and it didn't bother me like this. I'm like, "Just stop it. Just be comfortable and do this."
Listen,
I completely get it because I'm the same way. I can go and do my show in front of a crowd of people, but going
Yep.
and doing a live on YouTube, I sit there and start having heart palpitations and
Yes,
everything
me
for 30
yep,
minutes
me too.
before going
Me
live.
too. Me too. Like, I can feel my chest pounding. I'm like, "Okay, I need to stop this teenage crap here. These are not butterflies. This is anxiety."
I don't get those anymore at all. Um, it doesn't matter to me anymore what anybody thinks of me or what I look like, or well, I try to at least look neat for you guys, but I just don't care anymore. In the beginning when I started, I was too worried about, oh my God, what are they going to think of this, that? I was worried because of my teeth issue and all that kind of crap. And people made fun of me for that, and that's okay. that doesn't even bother me though. I'm pushed past all that. Who cares? We're doing the way I look at it, especially you two, because you do that more than I do now. With the missing stuff, you're doing something amazing to help other people. I mean, I am trying to too, but that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. This is what we're
Right.
doing.
Yeah, it's
So,
just about the people that are missing because we want them home. I don't care if people on
right,
here wanna make fun of me, that
right.
don't bother me. It's the
That's,
people that are missing, if they could just stare at that photo and bring them home. No, I just want them home.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And
Absolutely.
I don't let that stuff get to me anymore. But I used to be horrible with it. Hell, I played in a band, you guys, and I had stage fright. That's why I was happy I was a drummer. I could hide behind the drum set so nobody could see me. You know what I mean?
But once you do like with me and Arctic and we try to hurry up and put a whole flyer in 30 seconds, you turn into like super speed reader without thinking. So I've watched Arctic even he's like, and I can understand everything he's saying because I feel that same way when I'm reading. It's like, he's missing from, and then
You don't really talk that fast. I thought that you had
Well,
said that before.
it's
I
not
did.
as bad now that we can do 3-minute shorts, but when they had us time to a minute to try to get
Yes,
all the information out, oh, I became an auctioneer.
me
Yeah,
too. I was laughing last night with Preston because I was like, give me a dollar, 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 dollar. And he's like, stop it. Stop it.
that's great. I love it. Now you do great, Doodle. You don't doubt yourself by any means, please. Like I said, you keep saying you'll get better as time goes on. How? Like, you're doing amazing now, and you don't need to get any
Well,
better.
I
I
could not
promise you.
stutter. That would be a plus.
I've been doing this for 3 years, and I still stutter. It's
Oh
just
my
because
God.
you're trying to say so much different stuff, and you want to make sure you say it right,
And
and you
my
talk over
computers are
yourself.
broken, so I have a new set coming in. So, like, I'm staring at the computer, so I'm it's a mess, but I'm getting it done. It's just it's funny.
Right, Molly. I know what the problem is, Molly. It's because you do talk fast. You talk very fast when you talk, so your words overlap each other. That's probably the only thing that it is. You don't have an accent, no, but you talk fast, and I think your words overlap sometimes. That's probably why they're saying they don't understand you.
Yeah,
But yeah,
U-Haul.
yes, you Hall. Thank you, Hall, for being here.
Yeah,
Let's
we
see,
appreciate U-Haul.
very much. Yes, we do. We do appreciate you, Hall. She's gonna have a stroke now.
Oh, no, she'll just send me a video of a cat whooping my ass, and it'll all be over with.
Yeah, yep. The cat in the car on their way to you.
Yeah, and then a drop kick. I'm like, "Okay, you win, Molly."
Yep, every time. So again, thank you, Hall, for being here. And there is the sassy one is in the house. Hello. Thank you for joining us, Miss Cassie. And again, I want to thank all of you guys that did jump over to Doodles this morning to start out the day with her. You guys are amazing for that. I know she appreciates it, and we all appreciate you guys supporting all of us. I promise you that. As a whole, you guys are amazing. So thank you all for that as well. And again, if we could put Doodle's link in here for anybody that doesn't have it yet, I would really appreciate that. So onward with this. Trenton Duckett. This is a cold case from 2006. This poor little guy went missing. And there's a bit of a story behind this. A wild story. I'll just put it that way. So if you want to listen in close, it is quite interesting. Christina, good morning. Thank you for late morning. Sorry. Thank you for joining us. And there's Doodle's link. Thanks, Arctic. Please go over, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and don't miss nothing. She does it every morning, Monday through Friday. Morning Misting, and it's a really great thing. So thank you again for those of you that are supporting her. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Let me know how the audio is on this, by the way. If there's any issues, please and thank you. And if I need to change anything.
Hello. Hi. What is Trenton wearing, honey? I don't know. Hello. Hi. What is Trenton wearing, honey? I don't know. He was ready for bed.
A young mother reports an unimaginable crime, the kidnapping of her son, 2-year-old Trenton Duckett. Someone cut through this window screen and opened a bedroom window where the toddler had been sleeping. Now he was gone.
You don't know what you dressed him in before you went to bed? He might have had his shoes off.
That chilling phone call was made from this very apartment back in 2006. Nearly 2 decades later, people in this community are still asking, where's Trenton? He's never been found. This is what Trenton Duckett looked like when he vanished. And this is what Trenton Duckett might look like today as a young adult. Some people, including his family, are still holding out hope that he could be alive. 17 days into the search for Trenton Duckett, and fatigue is starting to set in. I was working as a TV news reporter in Central Florida when Trenton disappeared. To this day, it remains one of the most intriguing mysteries of my career. Digging through some of my old case files, reviewing hours of video footage stored on beta tapes, and talking with the missing boy's family, I'm going to take you inside the investigation, starting from the moment police first learned about the disappearance.
We're hoping that anybody with any information is going to give us a call. We definitely want to get Trenton home.
The initial details were frightening. In Leesburg, Florida, about 40 miles northwest of Orlando, Trenton Duckett was reported kidnapped from the apartment he shared with his mother, Melinda Duckett.
I can't even start to begin to imagine what kind of person would do something like that to begin with.
Melinda told police her son had been abducted from his bedroom while she was in an adjoining room watching TV with some friends.
And how long has he been gone? You don't know? In a movie that was 2 hours long. I checked on him before anyone came down to the house. Okay.
Melinda never told the 911 dispatcher the name of anyone who might have kidnapped her son, but the mother did make this vague statement.
I know he freaking did it.
I know he freaking did it. Melinda does not immediately say who he is, but suspicion would soon fall on Melinda's estranged husband, Trenton's father, Josh Duckett. The couple was separated and going through a very ugly divorce.
Obviously, we were looking at Josh very early on.
Just weeks before her son disappeared, Melinda came here to the Lake County Courthouse, where she filed for a restraining order against Josh, claiming she and Trenton were in danger. As evidence, Melinda showed the judge this printout from the social media website MySpace. The message, which appeared to have been written by Josh, said, quote, "I hate you because you ruined my life and took my son. I'm going to hunt you and your damn son down one day and kill both of you. I want to put you through torture. I'll bury your son with you."
I had a lot of fingers pointed at me and stuff like that.
Police immediately questioned Josh Duckett. Why did you write that threatening email to Melinda?
Didn't do it.
I recently caught up with Josh nearly 2 decades after his son disappeared. Josh told me the same thing he told detectives back then. He is not the author of that message.
I did not send the email.
According to police, Josh is telling the truth. Detectives quickly discovered Melinda had logged into Josh's MySpace account.
When they looked at it, they found that she had been connected to the IP address at her grandparents' house. When she typed the email, sent it to my MySpace, and then sent it from MySpace on my page back to herself.
So, right then and there, when I first caught that, I was like, what? What this is saying is that, you know, she told the police and everybody that Josh, her ex, soon to be ex, whatever, sent that message to her and this and that. For those of you that don't understand this, from MySpace, let's tell you how old this is. And actually, she went and logged into his MySpace, created a message, sent it to her from him herself, that's a lot of stuff to be doing. But yeah, she did it. Okay, which is strange, very strange. And why did you do that? Yeah, you know what I mean? So for those of you that didn't catch that, that's what happened there.
At that point, Leesburg police here could have taken Melinda Duckett into custody. Detectives secretly drafted this arrest warrant accusing the mother of computer crimes and perjury. But investigators made the strategic decision to remain quiet about what they knew and allowed Melinda to remain free in hopes that she would help them find Trenton.
All we want is him to come back and safe and sound, obviously quickly as possible.
Melinda told one of my colleagues she was trying to remain positive that her son would be found.
There's no other way to think about that. And eventually we are going to get him back no matter what.
Josh also stood in front of cameras begging for his son's safe return.
Just keep your hopes high. I mean, we're still looking for Trenton. That's our main focus, is to look for Trenton.
As search teams scoured woods and swamps in search of the missing boy, investigators questioned sex offenders living near this apartment complex here where Trenton was reported kidnapped. But detectives also focused on the 2-year-old's parents.
We have reports of where Trenton was. We want to get confirmation of where Trenton was.
During this news conference, police displayed photos of Josh and Melinda and asked the public to help verify their whereabouts in the hours before Trenton disappeared. Josh stood behind police during that news conference. Melinda was noticeably absent.
I've given my whole story. I've cooperated. Everything that I had that I'd been doing, they've checked it out, and so far they're satisfied with what they found.
Immediately after that police news conference, I called Melinda on the phone. She agreed to meet me here at the Venetian Gardens Park in Leesburg, where she had celebrated Trenton's 2nd birthday just a few weeks earlier. As I glanced through photos of Trenton that Melinda brought me, we started to chat.
But you were with him all day Saturday and all day Sunday?
Right. I had stopped down at family houses and stuff like that, but yes.
I asked Melinda about her missing son, but the conversation kept shifting back to her.
I go into the grocery store and people recognize me in there. It's absolutely bizarre.
I'm sure you know, I mean, a lot of people are questioning whether you had something to do with this.
Oh, I understand that. I do.
Could you harm your own child?
No.
Then I asked Melinda how her son's abductor should be punished.
If someone does something to your family, I mean, why wouldn't you want something to happen to them to go to jail or something like that? Or
You notice how she won't look up and she won't look at the camera or him? She's looking down and she's having this conversation. Remember that.
I don't care. I just want my life to go back to normal.
And that's when our interview abruptly came to an end. But 2 days later, Melinda would appear on TV once again.
Where were you? Why aren't you telling us where you were that day? You were the last person to be seen with him.
CNN talk show host Nancy Grace invited Melinda to phone into her program.
We just shopping, going around,
Shopping
driving.
where?
Well, we didn't go anywhere specific.
Well, I mean, if you went shopping, you had to go into a store. What store did you go into?
I wasn't getting into any specifics.
The day after this Nancy Grace interview was taped, but before it actually aired on TV, authorities were called to the home of Melinda's grandparents in the Villages. That's where they found Melinda Duckett dead.
It is still very early in the death investigation, but initial observations indicate the death was from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
At the time, Josh was at the police station.
And they said, we have to tell you something. And I remember looking dead at him and saying, she killed herself, didn't she? And they said, yes.
Josh remains frustrated that law enforcement did not arrest Melinda when they had the chance.
She was the only suspect. And a lot of answers went with her.
But Melinda's suicide did not stop police here from trying to find Trenton. Far from it. In fact, the missing child case is still open. Some remain hopeful that Trenton Duckett could still be alive. This age-progressed photo shows what he might look like today as a young adult. Now, others are skeptical, but still want his body found so this mystery can be brought to an end. Next on Where's Trenton?
So there is the first part of this. This is a 4-part situation we're going to go through. But to start off with, this is... Hold on. This is crazy, guys. So she calls, reports her child missing, blames it on her ex, soon-to-be ex-husband, the child's father, does some interviews, does the whole press conference thing, and then takes her own life. There's the answer to the situation.
Now, a lot of why she, in my opinion, a lot of why she took her own life was because of how she was treated on Nancy Grace and how she was being treated in the press and everything. You know, tragedy pimps get these cases, they go on and on and on. And I'm not defending her. She may very well be responsible for Trenton's abduction. Certainly the hacked into the MySpace and sending herself messages looks suspicious. But at the same time, a lot can be said by how everything was being handled in the press at the same time. Just because she killed herself doesn't mean she did it out of guilt. She may have done it because of, you know.
You guys know Nancy, okay? Now understand, like they explained, and I agree with him on this specifically. I think Nancy's interview, because you know Nancy's rough, okay, and she's gruff. She attacks. She goes for the throat, and I think, as they said, the interview hadn't been aired; it was already done, and I think that got to this girl. Okay, that interview specifically, and I'm not blaming it on Nancy as to why she did it. I'm saying that interview And like Arctic said, the other stuff that was going on, it was too much. It was just too much. And I think that's where that came from. Truly, that's my opinion. So I do agree with Arctic on that. Now, I don't know, obviously, where this child is. We don't know what she may have done or not done. I don't believe the father had anything to do with this personally, but there's questions for different reasons and different things on this for me. So, yeah, I think this was. It wasn't. Didn't Nancy get a lot of heat over this, Arctic?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I thought she
absolutely.
did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the one, Stormy, to be honest with you. And I didn't know about this until I started looking into this the other day, and I'm like, aha, there it is. And it could wisdom. It could have been guilt as well as the rest of this. Put that all together in a blender and hit the button. Guess what happens? It makes that whole mix up there. So anyway, part 2 of this, and there's other things that are answered here too. You can put stuff together as you see it. So
We don't see or hear anything, Diggo.
oh shit, it must have jumped. I don't know why it does that every now and then. It falls off after I load it in. Hold on. Sorry, guys. All right, here we go.
This was a very bad situation
Can you hear it?
for everybody. It was like a nightmare that just.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
Mourners arrive at this Florida church in 2006 where a funeral was being held for Melinda Duckett. The young mother committed suicide less than 2 weeks after reporting the disappearance of her son, Trenton.
Hello. Hi. What is Trenton wearing, honey? I don't know. He was ready for bed.
Melinda told a 911 dispatcher someone had kidnapped the 2-year-old from their apartment while she was in an adjoining room. The screen covering Trenton's bedroom window had been sliced open.
You don't know what you dressed him in before you went to bed? You already had his shoes on.
All we want is him to come back and safe and sound, obviously quickly as possible.
Nearly 2 decades later, the child has never been found, prompting the question, where's Trenton? On the night he disappeared, police looked all over this apartment complex here for anyone who may have witnessed the abduction. Soon, lead detective Rich Giles would arrive to begin the investigation.
And I made a promise early on, which is really taboo for a police detective or a police officer to do. You never promise the family of a victim that you're going to find their child.
I spoke with Giles in 2009, shortly after he retired from the Leesburg Police Department. The detective could never determine whether Trenton's bedroom window screen was cut from the inside or outside. But as this crime scene photo shows, the window pane and mini blinds are open only a few inches. Police say that opening is the same size as the slit in the window screen and is way too small for an adult to fit through.
It appeared like it was a staged crime scene.
Also, notice these pillows on the toddler's bed. The day after this crime scene photo was taken, detectives found one of those pillows inside a dumpster.
That pillow and only that pillow off of his bed was thrown in the trash. It was thrown in the trash after the search warrant.
And that's not all police found inside this very dumpster here in front of Melinda's apartment. Also in the trash, Trenton's first birthday card, a box filled with his toys, and Trenton's baby pictures, including a sonogram image. But while police were suspicious of the mother, they did not immediately rule out the boy's father, Josh Duckett, who was Melinda's estranged husband.
The possibility of Joshua's involvement is probably here on the scale, and the possibility of the outside abduction is here on the scale, and the possibility of Melinda's involvement is up higher on the scale.
These stacks of records from the Florida Department of Children and Families detail a rocky relationship between Melinda and Josh Duckett.
Neither of us had really lived life. We didn't really know what we were doing or what we were getting into.
Josh and Melinda were just 19 years old when they brought Trenton home from the hospital.
We were released the day that Hurricane Charlie came through. And it was like we were released to drive home in the storm.
The couple later married, but things just did not work out. They were separated throughout much of Trenton's first 2 years of life. Josh and Melinda each accused each other of abusing Trenton, but investigators with the Florida Department of Children and Families say they never found any physical evidence indicating that the child was being harmed. Meanwhile, custody of Trenton bounced from family member to family member.
It was just a whole lot of back and forth.
Unbeknownst to Josh, Melinda had reportedly been searching for a hitman. Police records released years later show the target was her husband.
And it was just like, wow, this is how in-depth this whole thing is. She was trying to hire someone to kill me.
After his son's disappearance, Josh Duckett voluntarily came down here to the police station to take a polygraph examination, which Leesburg police confirmed he passed. Melinda Duckett refused to take a lie detector, reportedly at the advice of her attorney. But the mother did agree to a voice stress analysis. According to police, that test indicated possible deception when Melinda was asked, "Did you make up the story about Trenton being taken?"
Could you harm your own child?
No.
I spoke with Melinda 3 days before she committed suicide. I wanted to ask her about a very unusual post she made on the social media website MySpace shortly after her son's disappearance. It read, "Machiavelli Vigilante." Machiavelli was a 15th century philosopher who's often associated with the concept the ends justify the means. A vigilante is someone who takes the law into their own hands. Melinda had a different definition.
Well, a Machiavellian, from what I had learned in school, is someone that, pushes through, does whatever it takes to get, their goals or dreams or anything, done. Vigilante is someone who, just like Robin Hood, does the right over the wrong.
Again, Melinda wrote that on her MySpace page after her son disappeared. But that was not the only thing baffling to detectives. They wanted to know exactly where Melinda and Trenton were in the hours leading up to his disappearance.
She was not forthcoming or overly cooperative.
Melinda told investigators she and the toddler spent the day driving around Central Florida in her Mitsubishi Eclipse, at one point stopping by her grandparents' house, but she claims they were not at home. Melinda says she and Trenton then traveled to the Altamont Mall in neighboring Seminole County. Police later checked mall security cameras, but could not confirm the mother and child had been there. Melinda claimed they then got lost and ended up in downtown Orlando near the former TD Waterhouse Center Arena before returning home to Leesburg.
You were with him all day Saturday and all day Sunday?
Right. I had stopped down at family houses and stuff like that, but yes.
Detectives say Melinda's story simply does not match the evidence. Witness statements, ATM records, and cell phone tower data tell a different version. According to police, Melinda Duckett was seen in a Leesburg store by herself without Trenton at 8 a.m. and then used a nearby ATM at 10:49 a.m. Cell phone pings placed the mother near Ocala, possibly around the Paddock Mall, around 12:08 p.m. It appears she then may have traveled south with her cell phone pinging near Wildwood around 12:30 and then somewhere near Mineola around 12:45. At that point, Melinda's cell phone activity goes silent for nearly 3 hours. Her next cell phone ping would be near Tavares at 3:42 p.m. A short time later, around 4 o'clock, a witness claims to have seen Melinda back at her Leesburg apartment, again without Trenton. Melinda told police she put Trenton to bed in his room here around 6:45. About 15 minutes later, 2 of Melinda's friends showed up at the apartment to watch movies. They say they never saw Trenton that night. Around 9 o'clock, one of those friends called 911 after Melinda claims she discovered her son was missing from his room.
And how long has he been gone? You don't know?
Detective Giles was preparing to confront Melinda about her inconsistent stories.
We took a huge copy of the timeline of all of her cell phone activity, her travels that were confirmed, and we taped it all along the wall.
That's when an FBI agent's cell phone began to ring.
And he became extremely, distraught, upset. Slammed his phone down, and he goes, "She killed herself."
Melinda's suicide inside her grandparents' home was a major setback, but the missing child investigation was only just beginning. While many assume Trenton is dead, either intentionally or by accident, there is no proof of that. Police have never found any blood or other evidence that conclusively shows Trenton was harmed.
There's nothing to indicate any sign of trauma. has occurred. So nothing of that nature.
And that gives Trenton's dad hope his son might still be alive.
Until they can show me something else, there's nothing else to go on other than he's out there somewhere, and we have to continue to push the effort to try and find him.
This age-progressed photo shows what Trenton might look like now as a young adult. The mystery of his disappearance has captivated the community, and it's been a source of intrigue for true crime enthusiasts. At the time Trenton vanished, social media was just in its infancy. In fact, iPhones had not yet even been invented.
And we all get together on a daily basis, and we basically talk about Trenton. Where is he? Is he alive? Is he not?
Next on.
All right, next part. Give me a second here.
I wasn't getting any specifics.
The day after this interview with Melinda was recorded, but before it actually aired on TV, Melinda killed herself inside her grandparents' home. Melinda's family later filed this lawsuit against Nancy Grace and CNN, claiming that confrontational interview drove the 21-year-old mother to suicide.
You look for somebody to blame. You look hard. I do not feel that our show is to blame for what happened to Melinda Duckett.
While defending the lawsuit, attorneys for CNN and Nancy Grace learned about this script that Melinda had written on her computer before the interview was taped. Now, they argue that this script, which is basically a list of talking points, proves that Melinda was well prepared for the questions Grace would ask her.
I'm hoping very much to reinvigorate the search for Trenton.
Shortly before the lawsuit was filed, Grace traveled to Leesburg,
Live at Team Trenton headquarters,
where she broadcast her show.
hopefully more tips will be coming into the tip line.
While critics say Grace's involvement in the case was done for TV ratings, Josh believes she genuinely wanted to help find Trenton.
To me, she's awesome. Love her to death to this day.
Melinda's family later reached a settlement in the lawsuit, saying the parties now agree that Nancy Grace, the producers of her program, and CNN engaged in no intentional wrongdoing in the course of dedicating a program to finding the missing toddler. As part of that settlement, CNN agreed to pay $200,000 for the sole purpose of locating Trenton Duckett. That money was later given to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Every few years, the nonprofit publishes a new age-progressed photo of Trenton. This is what he might look like today as a young adult. Could Trenton still be alive? Shortly after the toddler disappeared, a new witness came forward that seemed to turn the investigation upside down.
But for sure, she called him Trent, and you guys discussed the name Trent.
This witness raised the possibility that Melinda Duckett may have given her son away to someone else. Next on Where's
All right, and this is part 4 of this specific situation here.
This surprise witness.
Sorry.
But for sure, she called him Trent, and you guys discussed the name Trent. Because I thought it was, yeah.
This surprise witness, who came forward weeks after 2-year-old Trenton Duckett disappeared, was about to turn the missing child investigation upside down. A woman who works at the drive-thru of this Bellevue Wendy's restaurant now says she saw Melinda Duckett and Trenton the morning he vanished. I was working as a TV news reporter in Central Florida back in 2006 when Melinda Duckett claimed her son had been kidnapped.
I can't even start to begin to imagine what kind of person would do something like that to begin with.
Melinda told police that an abductor snatched her son out of his bedroom window here. But nearly 2 weeks after reporting Trenton's disappearance, Melinda took her own life. Now, nearly 2 decades later, people are still asking, where's Trenton? Well, sadly, many believe he is probably dead. But there are some who are holding out hope that Trenton could still be alive, including his dad. If so, how could that be? Well, one possibility is the handoff theory.
Until they can show me something else, there's nothing else to go on other than he's out there somewhere, and we have to continue to push the effort to try and find him.
I recently caught up with Josh Duckett, who has not given up on finding his son alive. After all, detectives never found blood or other evidence confirming the toddler died.
Hello. Hi. What is Trenton wearing, honey? I don't know. He was ready for bed.
Now, it was shortly after Melinda reported her son's abduction that detectives started to question whether the boy was really kidnapped from his bedroom. Early on, Leesburg, Florida police here were open to the possibility that maybe Melinda gave Trenton away to someone else, possibly a family member or a friend. Officers here urged that person to drop the child off at a public place.
And I can't assure them of anything, but the longer they keep Trenton, if that's the case, the worse it's going to be.
When I spoke with Melinda days after Trenton's disappearance, she denied being responsible.
I'm sure you know, I mean, a lot of people are questioning whether you had something to do with this.
Oh, I understand that. I do.
Could you harm your own child?
No.
After Melinda killed herself inside her grandparents' home, police found several suicide notes. The suicide notes did not indicate Trenton was dead. Instead, Melinda suggested her son was still alive, right?
And if you notice something, she doesn't look at the camera, or she doesn't look up during a lot of her interview, right? But when she's asked if she harmed him, she's looking up and is very adamant about that. No. To me, and I guess in a psychological aspect, that leaves the door open to maybe he was given to somebody else, okay? Because every other question she was asked, she's looking down and she's answering, she's talking until that question is brought out, and she's dead set on no, and she's looking up, okay? Think about it, folks. That's kind of where I'm at with that. And it made me wonder, and I even asked.
And that's where I've been. I don't think she killed him, but I think that he's out there somewhere with someone, and he was so young when he went missing that he just doesn't know that he's a missing person.
Right. And 2 years old, if you have any memories of anything, you're definitely different. I'll tell you that much. So she was young. They were both very young. Okay, the parents were they were not, in my opinion, ready for this. Then they split up. They're divorced, and it was a rough divorce. They're getting divorced. I'm sorry. It's a hardcore separation, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Think about it for a minute. You know, maybe she was doing something for the good of the child, she thought at that point, or something else per se. I don't know that there was money involved per se, but because I don't think they found anything in that aspect. But I'm just saying, and then realized at some point, especially after the interview with Nancy, which, like I said, Nancy's very gruff, and it makes it can be hard on somebody, and she couldn't handle that possibly. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with this. Personally, that's my opinion. Welcome, Skits West Side. Thank you for joining us. Critical, it's good to see you today as well. I'm just trying to catch anybody else that popped in here. Hold on here, Mrs. T. All of you guys, thank you so much for joining us. 45 peeps in the house. Guys, please make sure to hit that like button. I appreciate it so very much. Share this out if you will. You are so very much appreciated. Thank you, Doodle, for that. Yes. I'm going to pull up our merchandise site, the Printify thing, and show you guys everything on there again at some point. And again, if you're not a member yet, please click on that link there. Jump in the sauce with the rest of us and become a member, or a meatball, as we like to call you, of the crew. We appreciate you very much. And thanks again, Doodle.
Writing, even after my baby is found, I would not be a good mother.
Obviously, we have to face the facts that, Trenton may be alive, but Trenton may be dead.
While Leesburg police were preparing the public for the worst possible outcome, across town, the Marion County Sheriff's Office launched its own parallel investigation based on the premise that the toddler was still alive.
It's been the theory of the Marion County Sheriff's Office that we believe that Trenton Duckett was handed off.
According to Marion County investigators, 2 employees of this Wendy's restaurant in Bellevue claim to have seen Trenton with his mom just hours before she reported him missing.
But for sure, she called him Trenton, and you guys discussed the name Trenton. Because I thought it was,
One of the fast food workers who passed a polygraph claims she served Melinda and Trenton here in the Wendy's drive-thru, at one point removing her drive-thru headset so she could hear the child's name.
Yeah, I thought she said Denton. And she said, Trent, because I moved my ear and I heard the T. Oh, that's nice.
That same Wendy's employee says Melinda returned to the drive-thru about 20 minutes later. That time, Trenton was no longer in the car.
It was possible during this time that she may have left that Wendy's and actually met someone to hand Trenton off.
If Melinda handed off the toddler, where was Trenton taken? Well, Marion County investigators had another theory. The agency looked into whether Trenton was brought here to Orlando International Airport and smuggled onto a plane, possibly bound for South Korea.
We do have certain individuals that stated that Melinda had talked about her roots and possibly sending little Trenton back to his roots.
Melinda was born in South Korea, but she was adopted by an American family when she was just a few months old. Melinda's parents say she had absolutely no ties to her native country.
We're working with Customs. We're issuing some subpoenas.
Chris Blair, who was later elected Marion County Sheriff and then resigned from office in controversy, admitted to me his agency had no solid proof Melinda sent her son overseas.
Did she have any contacts in Korea?
None specific that we're aware of at this time.
Back here in Leesburg, police absolutely discounted that handoff theory, saying the alleged sighting at the Wendy's just simply didn't match up with the timeline established by Melinda's cell phone records and other witness statements. Also, Leesburg police say none of Melinda's friends or the friends of those friends ever boarded a plane around the time of Trenton's disappearance. Lead detective Rich Giles, who is now retired, is convinced the child is dead.
What do you think happened to Trenton Duckett?
I believe that Melinda killed him.
Detective Giles' personal opinion is that Trenton's mother took her son's life possibly an entire day before reporting him missing.
So you think whatever she did with Trenton probably happened near her apartment in Leesburg?
I'm thinking that what happened with Trenton happened at the apartment.
Officially, the Leesburg Police Department's investigation remains open.
Melinda Duckett is the prime suspect in the reported disappearance of Trenton.
Despite there being no evidence that Trenton Duckett is alive, there is also no evidence confirming he's dead. That gives Trenton's father hope that Melinda may have given their son away to somebody, even if it did not happen at that Bellevue Wendy's. If she handed him off, why did she do it?
Control. Her whole thing was controlling. She's still controlling my life, even though she's no longer here.
Josh believes Melinda's friends have not told detectives everything they know about Trenton's disappearance. You think people are still holding back information?
I definitely think there's people out there that have information that's not saying, and no matter what the outcome, we want answers.
Here at the Leesburg Police Department, an investigator remains assigned to the case to follow up on any leads, and Trenton's missing child poster is still hanging in the windows. Anyone with information about his disappearance is urged to call the Central Florida Crime Line at 1-800-423-TIPS or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, 1-800-THE-LOST. Until this child is found, this community will continue to ask, where's Trenton? I'm Mike DeForest.
Okay, so there is that part of this. Doodle, Arctic, anything before we go forward?
No, that's crazy. The way she put her head down like that, I mean, it was kind of obvious at that point. Oh no,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Go ahead, bud. Go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I just, like I said, my suspicion has always been with the mother, but I think that she handed him off to someone.
Yeah, I kind of gotta. I'm gonna play your video too, Arctic, and then there's a couple other little things.
Oh, there's no need to play mine. This is far more detailed than what I went to.
Okay, I got you. So
I love his honesty, don't you? He's like, nah, you know what? Nah.
Well, I'm sorry. Give me a second here. Okay. Now I'm going to show you guys this portion of this as well. Get a little more insight into some of the other people that are in this scenario here.
You see these stories on TV and you hear about them.
Help us find our daughter.
But no one has been able to find LaTanya.
You never in a million years think it's going to happen to you.
I never thought I would be one of those people.
On the walls of this home outside Buffalo, New York, is a story.
Mindy made this when she was 13.
The story of a mother.
There was a picture of her and her sister.
And grandmother. But what these pictures won't tell you is a family story shrouded in darkness. 14 years ago, Beth Eubank's family's world unraveled in an instant.
He was 2 years old when he was taken. He doesn't know he's missing.
Her adopted daughter's son, Trenton Duckett, disappeared.
We're always prepared for the worst, but we hope for the best.
1,100 miles away, her former son-in-law, Joshua Duckett, has found his own path forward.
Biggest thing is just to keep fighting for the cause and to bring him home.
Shortly after losing his son, tragedy struck again. Joshua's wife, Melinda, Beth's daughter, took her own life.
I was 20 years old, and the girl that I had dated all the way through high school, had a kid with, was married to, and lived with, just committed suicide.
She's not here any longer with us, and we have to be her voice. And we're the only ones that have the memories of her to share with Trenton.
The questions that followed: why did this happen and who's responsible? To begin, we go back to August 2006 and a 911 call.
How long has he been gone? You don't know? I was watching a movie that was 2 hours long. I had checked on him before anyone came down to the house.
Melinda Duckett reported her son missing from their Leesburg apartment. Investigators finding a cut in the screen of Trenton's bedroom window. A lingering question: what happened to Trenton, and was his mother holding the answers?
She loved Trenton very much. She was not the monster that the media and the public smashed her and bashed her out to be.
Now, a new tip is giving fresh hope for the family. A person who lived in the area at the time Trenton went missing has come forward with new information. Captain Joe Iozzi with Leesburg Police would not disclose details yet, but says time.
Just so you guys know, this was put out 4 years ago, so you guys know.
In this case, may prove helpful.
There have been a lot of technological advances in investigative work to date.
Something Joshua and Beth hope will help uncover an unturned stone and bring Trenton back home.
We're not going to give up hope, and we hope that nobody else does either.
We will never give up looking for him.
Hang on a second. Bear with me, you guys. One moment. Not cooperating again. Sorry. One moment. This might work. Okay, I think I got it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. So many technical things lately. My apologies. Here we go.
0 inches tall at the time he disappeared, and his weight was 30 pounds. His race is Asian and Caucasian. His mother is Asian and his father is Caucasian. He is from Leesburg, Florida, which is in Lake County. And his case is still an active Amber Alert case. I found this case on the charlieproject.org and on the Missing Endangered Persons Information Clearinghouse on the Florida Department of Law Enforcement website under the Unsolved Amber Alerts section. I know that's a mouthful of words for a website section, but I wanted to at least inform you as to where I got this case from.
Yeah, Leslie, I always try to do updates with Ryan's case. You know that. Just like Arctic, I'd love to speak with them. Have you had any luck with talking to any of them, Arctic?
I haven't. Ryan's sister had left a comment on one of my videos on Ryan, and I told her to email me, but so far I haven't received any email from her or anything. So
Okay, got you. Yeah, I'll have to look into it too, see if I can pause. I tried once before to reach out, and I didn't get anything back, so I didn't know if anybody had any luck with it. Hey, Lisa Joe, welcome, dear. Good to see you. So if you know anything, Leslie, that you know as far as any contact with the family or anything, let us know. Both of us or either one of us, either way. But yeah, because I would definitely love to speak with any of them as well. Well, let her know that Arctic for sure has reached out, and that he responded to the sister. And I have no problems with it whatsoever. I would love to. I'm constantly trying to do updates on his. I have many times on his case. So it's been a while, but still, yeah, 100%. That would be awesome.
Again, this case is still an active Amber Alert case, despite the fact that it is over 10 years old. And the Florida Department of Law Enforcement website has the Amber Alert flyer, and I will provide that link below, as well as some other links that I will talk about throughout this episode. So for my first few shows, I want to cover some cases that are closer to my neck of the woods, which is the state of Florida. The first case I chose is a very bizarre and interesting case. It has many elements, and as I read the case,
now, this is going to tell you guys a lot of what you already know, but there are some things in this that we didn't know. Welcome, Amy.
When I thought it couldn't get any stranger, it did. This case involves not only the abduction of a 2-year-old boy, but also a person on death row, a mother with conflicting stories,
welcome, JC,
a suicide, a lawsuit against Nancy Grace, a shooting range, domestic violence and a custody battle, a refusal to take a polygraph, and the failure of a voice stress test, a sum of $200,000, and the country of South Korea. If tying all those topics into one abduction isn't strange, then I don't know what is. So this is my take on the case. I have a timeline of Trenton's life, which I retrieved from the WESH2 News website. Before Trenton went missing, he was sent back and forth to live with his parents, his maternal great-grandparents, his paternal grandmother, and foster care. This timeline starts on April 6th of 2005, where Melinda, who is Trenton's mother, threatened to harm Trenton unless her husband Joshua went home to talk to her. Melinda reportedly had scars on her arms from self-mutilation and had squeezed Trenton so tightly that he was screaming. Moving up to July of 2005, Melinda allegedly dangled Trenton over water to antagonize Joshua, who was Melinda's husband and Trenton's father. Despite that fight, they both married that same month, which I think is insanely ridiculous. I mean, if you're fighting and throwing your toddler son, actually who was a baby at the time, not a toddler, And if you're throwing your baby into the middle of domestic disputes and it's getting to the point where you're dangling your child over water to make your significant other really angry, I really don't think that marriage is the right answer. It's just my opinion, but take it for what you will. Now, moving up to October 31st, 2005, Halloween night.
Welcome, Siggy and Mike. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're having a great Monday, and thank you for being here.
Or Halloween day. It doesn't actually specify the exact time. The Department of Children and Families received a report from Lake County, Florida, stating that Melinda threatened to kill her son, Trenton, and held a knife against his leg while she and her husband, Joshua, were having an argument in the car. In the days following this argument, the Department of Children and Families removed Trenton from his home, but the court returned Trenton to Melinda's custody despite DCF's objections. This unfortunately happens way too often with kids these days. I wish the law would back Department of Children and Families organizations a lot better than they do, but unfortunately, there are a lot of kids who are living very troubled lives that are having a very difficult upbringing in their homes, and they are quickly returned back to the parents that have been putting their lives through chaos. I just wish that there was more that could be done about that, but unfortunately, that's a pretty common occurrence. Moving up to December of 2005, Melinda had psychological evaluations and was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive personality disorder. But the same evaluation documentation stated that there was, quote, no psychological reason that would preclude Melinda from being a capable and loving parent. Now I'm going to fast forward all the way up to August 22nd of the next year, which is 2006. Melinda spoke with a child protective investigator and told them that she lost her job and had little money to live off of. CPI referred Melinda to a website called Access, where she could apply for food stamps and other financial assistance opportunities. Moving up a few days to August 26th of 2006, Trenton is officially reported missing. Moving ahead to September 8th of 2006, Trenton's mother, Melinda, was found to have committed suicide by her grandfather's shotgun. And I believe she was discovered in the closet of her grandparents' home. She left suicide notes in the center console of her car, as well as $900 cash for her, quote, nanny and poppy. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I am 90% sure at least that her nanny and poppy are referred to as her maternal great-grandparents, which obviously would be her natural great-grandparents. Well, her adopted great-grandparents, which I will get into that at a later time. So recall back earlier to August 22nd of 2006, the timeline date where it is documented that Melinda talked to a child protective investigator, said she lost her job, money was tight, and she needed to apply for food stamps and so on and so forth. If that's the case,
where the hell did she get $900 out then?
Exactly.
That's interesting. Okay.
Where did she get the $900 cash from in the first place? Now, Melinda was under investigation for embezzling thousands of dollars from her workplace, which was at a local bank. So perhaps this $900 was part of that sum of money. Moving all the way up to today's date, the date that I recorded this, which I may upload it tomorrow or something, so this may be a couple of days old, but moving up to January 3rd of 2017, Trenton officially still remains missing and his Amber Alert is still listed as active. Trenton is one of 5 children with active Amber Alerts in the state of Florida and remain missing to this day. The most recent case is a then 5-year-old girl who went missing back in 2009. There is one thing I want to mention regarding this timeline, and that is the alleged threats that Melinda made toward her son with regard to the knife and dangling him over water. This sounds like a classic he said, she said situation, and with a custody battle both parents were involved with, it seems possible to me that Joshua fabricated these allegations to help his chances in obtaining custody of his son. But please know that I am not accusing him of making up these allegations. I just want to make it known that it is simply possible. Okay, now I'm going to move into the specific elements of the case of Trenton Duckett. And the first thing I'm going to begin with was Trenton's bedroom window. Officers said Melinda stated that Trenton's bedroom screen was slit and he was taken from the room at night, but officers said that there was no disturbance on the ground outside the window. By the way, Melinda reported her son missing around 9:00 p.m. on the evening of Sunday, August 27th of 2006. So I took it upon myself to have a look at the ground outside Trenton's window. You can actually Google Trenton Duckett window and see the window and the ground outside of that window. There was mulch on the ground, but there are also sandy patches, little narrow sandy patches that are also in front of the window. If someone climbed into a window and pulled a toddler from the window, they would have shuffled their feet around to pull the child through the window. The ground would have certainly been disturbed, and it clearly was not. Okay, the next element I'm going to get into in this case is regarding the Ocala National Forest. Melinda told her attorney that she took Trenton to a shooting range near the Ocala National Forest and she was lost for several hours. Investigators are still trying to validate this story, but they never came up with any witnesses. My question is, does that shooting range she's referring to, does it have CCTV cameras? And if that's the case, then that would easily be able to corroborate her story. But I've not been able to find anything with regard to that. Furthermore, if an Asian woman with a shotgun and a toddler walk into a shooting range, I would assume the employees would have remembered that, but I don't know. Maybe it's a very busy shooting range. They didn't give the details on the shooting range itself, so maybe that wouldn't be totally out of the ordinary, but to me, I would have probably remembered that, especially if the police or sheriffs or FBI or whoever came to me shortly after this happened, which I'm sure they would have, because Melinda, she committed suicide 12 days after her son disappeared, and she must have, obviously, had spoken to her attorney within that 12-day period. So if the attorney relayed that information to police within days of hearing that information, then it would have only been maybe 2 weeks after her son.
That was my question, SRB. Why would you take a 2-year-old to a shooting range? Okay. But the only thing I could understand would be is that you didn't have anybody to watch him, maybe. But still, you know, that is a little off, like quite a ways off, in my opinion.
Went missing at the time that the police would have interviewed employees of the shooting range. So it would have still been relatively fresh in their minds, I would think. And plus, there would have been a good chance that they may have still had video of that day, or maybe not. I don't know, but it stands to reason that they could have. But assume that Melinda's story is actually true. Now, Melinda killed herself with her grandpa's shotgun. If she is capable of suicide, it stands to reason that she may be capable of shooting her son and burying him out in the Ocala National Forest. She told her attorney that she was out there for several hours. Maybe she thought, if the law won't let me have Trenton all to myself, then I will make sure nobody else will either. That's just, again, just my opinion. I'm just speculating on that. I did not read a quote of that from anywhere. So the shooting range may be false, but I think she may have been giving her attorney a real clue here. She could have very well spent several hours killing her son and burying him way out in the Ocala National Forest. Now, if you're not familiar with the Ocala National Forest, this stretch of wilderness is massive. It covers 430,447 acres, which is the span of 607 square miles. It is absolutely gargantuan. I mean, there are other national parks that are larger, but a national park that is over 600 square miles in size, it would be very, very easy to make somebody disappear in
Take care,
that
Stormy.
vast stretch of land. There are many rivers and tons of wetland areas in this forest. She could have dumped him into a swamp off the beaten path somewhere, and he may have been consumed by alligators or other wildlife. She could have also buried him out there and threw her shovel and other tools into a nearby body of water. The Ocala National Forest is only a 34-minute drive from Leesburg, which is where the family lived at the time. And once she's in the forest, she has hundreds of thousands of acres at her disposal. Okay, moving on to the next element in the case. I'm going to talk about the possibility of Trenton being sent to Korea, and he may still be alive in Korea today. So Trenton's mother, Melinda, she is of Korean descent. She was actually born in South Korea, and at the age of 2, she was adopted by a couple living in, I believe, New York City. So she didn't grow up in Korea. She spent very little time in Korea, but she was from there originally. So there is speculation that maybe she has ties to Korea somehow, or maybe through the internet, maybe she had rekindled relationships with lost relatives that are located in Korea, and she may have sent her son there. That's speculation. They didn't find anything conclusive, although they did look pretty deeply into this possibility. An employee of a Wendy's fast food restaurant told authorities that she believed Melinda and Trenton went through the drive-thru during the day of Sunday, August 27, 2006, which was the same day that Trenton was reported missing. The drive-thru employee stated she saw an Asian woman pull up to her window and she observed a distinct tattoo on this woman's left arm. She identified the tattoo as Melinda's to authorities. So police probably showed this employee a series of tattoos, and she must have positively identified one of the photographs as a tattoo belonging to Melinda. This employee also observed a small child in the back seat and asked what his name was. The woman said, Trenton. The employee didn't hear her and removed her headset and asked her to repeat his name, and again she said, Trenton. The car eventually pulled away, but strangely, Melinda returns back to this exact same Wendy's and goes through the drive-thru around 30 minutes later. But this time, the employee did not observe Trenton being in the back seat. It is believed that Melinda may have given Trenton to a person in the Wendy's parking lot or in a nearby location in Bellevue, Florida. Although he went missing 10 years ago, surely Wendy's had cameras that could corroborate this possibility. Typically, there would be a camera pointing to the drive-thru window and pickup windows to identify potential robberies and other crimes. Despite this high probability, I did not read anything which stated police successfully recovered CCTV footage from this restaurant. The only thing that I was able to scrape together was an article on Ocala.com, which stated, quote, deputies were collecting stores security camera footage to see whether Duckett was in Marion County over the weekend of August 26th through 27th. And I have the link for the deputies' comment on obtaining the security footage, which is what I just read on Ocala.com. I have the link in the description below. Also in the description below, I attached 2 YouTube videos of police statements regarding the Wendy's situation. It is a single press release police gave to the press, but this video was broken up into 2 parts, so there will be 2 separate links, which I will, again, leave in the description below. And according to a report I found on also YouTube from Local 6 News in Orlando, which is called clickorlando.com today, reporters and police speculated that Trenton was flown out of the country during the weekend he went missing. The news also said he may have been driven to another airport or connected to a different airport before flying out of the country. My take on this theory is, did they think of the possibility that Trenton's captors may have kept Trenton in the U.S. for weeks before flying him out of the country, or maybe even just days after the fact? If I were in the person's shoes who was trying to smuggle Trenton out of the country, I don't think I would fly him abroad on the day of or the day after he was reported missing, especially when an Amber Alert is issued for him. Maybe he was taken out of the country by boat or by car. I think the boat theory has a lot of validity to that because we live in a state that has over 1,000 miles of coastline. There are tons of waterways, and there has to be well over 1 million boats that are in this state alone. So I don't think it would have been very difficult for Melinda to either hire somebody to take care of this or to take it upon herself to arrange that her son be taken out of the U.S. by boat. And that would have been very easy to have him smuggled out of the country without being detected on a camera or anything of that nature. And also remember that Melinda apparently embezzled thousands of dollars from her workplace. She may have stolen that money just for the purpose of getting her son out of the country. So she probably had plenty of cash to hire a professional to handle her situation. Also, police are hung up on flights bound from the US to Korea, but it would be extremely easy to fly to any of the 200 plus countries out there and connect to a flight bound for Korea from that outside country. They could have driven Trenton to Mexico, for example, and fly out to Paris, then connect to a flight bound for, let's say, Tokyo, then connect to a flight bound for Korea. There are just so many possibilities out there. Even the theory of him being driven out of the country. I've been to Mexico twice, but I've never driven to Mexico. I've only seen the border through the TV. So I don't know exactly how it's handled there. But it seems to me that it's like a highway. You just drive right through the border without even stopping if you're leaving the US for Mexico. But perhaps maybe that's not true. Maybe they stop, I don't know, 4 out of every 5 people or something like that. But even if that's the case, a person who's abducting Trenton or someone who's trying to smuggle him out of the country may have been willing to take that risk to get him out of the US. And once he's in Mexico, well, it would be beyond easy to take him anywhere else throughout the world that they wanted to take him. Regardless of the method of transportation, if Melinda really sent Trenton to South Korea, I don't think she would commit suicide to keep that a secret.
I got it, Leslie. Thank you. I'll throw that up here after this.
She may have had to put up with a court battle and possibly some jail time, but if she refused to give up his location in Korea, I doubt she would spend a significant amount of time in prison. She did state that her and her estranged husband engaged in domestic violence frequently, and Melinda accused Joshua, her husband, of abusing little Trenton, but he denies this, of course. He did, however, pass a polygraph test, which I guarantee you they asked him those types of questions. Police also found a fake email Melinda typed up using Joshua's email account, which contained violent threats against her and their son. Officers believe she was trying to validate her accusations by setting up her husband. It doesn't make sense to me that she would kill herself just to keep Trenton's location in Korea a secret from his father, Joshua. In my opinion, it wouldn't be worth taking her own life over. She was in college for criminal psychology, for crying out loud. She must have known that she wouldn't face grave punishment if she snuck her son out of the country to live in Korea or any other country. And what kind of a charge would they be able to charge her with? If she's the one that has custody, I'm sure it is an illegal act to sneak your child out of the country, especially when you're amidst a custody battle. But if you're not the person who single-handedly or directly took your child out of the country, I don't think that they could charge you with abduction, could they? I mean, they could charge you as being an accomplice, of course, but I mean, unless they have direct evidence through video footage or something, it would be really hard to prove that a specific person did abduct her son, Trenton, unless they had that person in custody and they were refusing to say where they took Trenton, if the police actually had Trenton on camera with this person. I think it would get pretty complicated, and perhaps she would have to spend some time behind bars, but I don't think she would get life imprisonment if she came forward and said, yes, I had him snuck out of the country. It would probably ruin her reputation, which I think was pretty well ruined throughout this process already, especially with the Nancy Grace situation, which I'll get to in a short little bit. But is it really worth committing suicide over? Either spend a little time behind bars or just end your life. I can't make a comparison there. Like I can't really understand how you could connect those two, or weigh your options, I should say, between those two and choose suicide over a little bit of jail time. I just don't get that. So I'm not sure if she committed suicide just to keep her son's whereabouts a secret, as in him being smuggled out of the country. I really don't buy it, but if you have a different opinion, definitely share it, leave a comment or something, or perhaps if there's something that you know that I don't know that I had overlooked, then definitely share that as well. Anyway, let's move on to the next element, which is Trenton's grandfather on death row and his possible involvement. Now, this guy is one real piece of garbage. I would really like.
Now, I don't know if you guys know about any of this, but some of this, like I said, some of the stuff we know because of what we've seen already, but some of these things weren't known and weren't put into that other documentary thing. There's a few different things. So take all that in with what we already know and think about it a little bit. By the way, welcome, Mama Bear. I'm sorry I didn't say anything to you yet. It's good to have you here.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. I hope you're having a good day. I do appreciate it. Everything good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Good. On we go.
I'd like to say some really rough words about him, but I'm trying to keep this podcast as clean as I possibly can. That way it's open for everybody who's willing and interested in listening. But this guy is quite a despicable human being. I personally have a special form of hatred toward people like Trenton's grandfather, who is named Jimmy Duckett. Back in 1987, Jimmy was a police officer on duty and was arrested and convicted of raping and killing an 11-year-old girl. This little girl, Teresa Maccabee, went to a convenience store to buy a pencil because she was probably needing one for her homework. This officer makes her get into his patrol car and drives her to a secluded area where he raped her and threw her into a lake where she.
Now, I don't know if you guys remember, we looked at that case, the Teresa Maccabee thing. I had no idea these two were linked until this, okay? In that aspect, at least. But I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. We had looked at
That's where
that.
I heard that name.
Yes,
I knew
remember?
it sounded familiar, but I didn't know.
A long time ago we looked at it. It wasn't a long whole drawn out thing. It was just a quick look at it, but still, like, I was like, oh my god, I remember that. And that was her grandfather. And I was like, or not her grandfather, his the father's it's from the father's side, sorry. Anyway, I was just floored when I heard this, like, what the, wait a minute. And I had to go back and I remembered. So yeah, pretty wild either way. 100%. So again, are you still here, Doodle? Did I put you to sleep?
I'm here.
All right. You're super quiet. I just didn't know. That's all.
I know it doesn't happen often.
It's all right. It's all right. All right, on we go.
Who later drowned. Fortunately, this character was a very stupid individual and left investigators with an easy slam dunk case. Because this is Florida, naturally he was sentenced to death for his crimes. But unfortunately for us, the state is unable to waterboard this guy to death because, in my opinion, that is exactly what he deserves. But this guy was sentenced to death in 1988. What in the world is taking Florida so long? Just end this guy already. It's been 28 years. As a taxpayer, I have paid enough to keep this guy alive. Okay. Anyway, there are plenty of people who would surely want to take revenge against Jimmy Duckett. But I have doubts that revenge would involve kidnapping his 2-year-old grandson. But don't get me wrong, the possibility is there. Maybe someone thought that since he took the life of a child, they would take the life of his grandchild. An eye for an eye, so to speak. It's possible, but I find it pretty unlikely. Now, another theory could be that Jimmy is a gang member in prison and a rival prisoner gang had Trenton kidnapped. It is reported that Melinda took Trenton to visit with his grandfather in prison because it's so lovely to allow death row inmates to have visitations. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Sure, they're on death row. They're going to die soon. The state is going to put them to death. But yeah, why not let them have visitation? I mean, they should totally have the right for that. I mean, what is wrong with this state? Anyway, so that's the end of that element. Moving on to the Nancy Grace part. Now this gets interesting. Melinda, who is again Trenton Duckett's mother, went on Nancy Grace via phone call and was apparently verbally slaughtered by Nancy Grace's interview. I was unfortunately unable to find the interview itself, but an article on ABC News states that, quote, Grace accused Duckett of hiding something, apparently because of her vague answers and unwillingness to take a lie detector test, end quote. The same day the interview was scheduled to air, which was the very next day after the interview was conducted, Melinda killed herself. Nancy Grace was successfully sued by Melinda's family for $200,000. So they might not have aired the broadcast, especially once they found out Melinda had committed suicide shortly after the interview. The $200,000 does have strings, which are to be given to Trenton as a trust fund if he is found alive by the time he reaches 13 years of age. But in the meantime, those funds can be spent toward the effort to find Trenton. If he is not found, the remaining funds will be donated to charity. As far as this interview, I think Melinda was subjected to the brutal reality that she will be utterly tormented by the public once they find out she is a prime suspect, if she wasn't the prime suspect already. This may have put her over the edge and gave her the ammunition, no puns intended, she needed to commit suicide. Not because she was grieving for her son, but because of how the world now sees her, a cold-blooded mother who killed her own son. Let's go to the next part of this case, which is the possibility that a friend or a relative had abducted Trenton. It may be possible that a family friend or a relative observed the atmosphere Trenton was being raised in and decided to take it upon themselves to give Trenton a better environment to grow up in. He may have been kidnapped by someone close to him, and they have simply not been located. Perhaps they left the state or even left the country. In this scenario, I would assume they left the country for a period of time until the case went cold. After all, there was a full-on Amber Alert out for Trenton, and the public generally doesn't ignore these alerts. Whenever I receive an alert on my phone or notice a highway marquee with Amber Alert information on it, I take note of the license plate and especially the car make and model. And I'll spend at least the next 24 hours with the car make and model in my mind. And if I see the exact make and model, I haven't actually observed this before, but if I were to see that exact make and model and it looked out of place or suspicious or anything, all I would have to do is just open up my text message and the Amber Alert is right there. So anyway, if little Trenton was kidnapped by someone close to him, they have long since disappeared. But surely the police would notice a family friend or a relative disappearing the same time as Trenton disappeared. I don't think they would keep that information a secret, especially with an active Amber Alert on Trenton. The last item I have on this case is the possibility that Trenton was kidnapped by a stranger. He was a victim of a random kidnapping. The abduction from his room doesn't sound very probable, but it is still possible. If that's the case, he could be anywhere. Although that possibility has merit, I just cannot get over the fact that Melinda killed herself just 12 days after her child went missing. If I were in her shoes, suicide would be the last thing on my mind. I would be dealing with complete torment, not knowing where my child was or what was happening to him. But the fear of not knowing would have me out looking for my child constantly. If my child went missing 10 years ago, like Trenton, I would still be devoting every second I could spare to finding my child. But people handle pain in different ways. Maybe she couldn't handle her son's kidnapping anymore. But where was the emotion? Someone who is ready to end it all because their son went missing days prior would certainly be visibly distressed, right? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But the police state Trenton's screen was slashed on Trenton's bedroom window. What I tried to find and was unsuccessful at doing so was whether the screen was cut from the inside or outside. Forensics could easily make that determination by looking at the broken screen fibers, if they are pointing out of the window or into the bedroom. Since I didn't see anything regarding this, I assumed the screen was cut from the outside. Otherwise, the police would have made a statement about the screen being cut from the inside, which would have taken the investigation into a more definitive direction, namely Trenton's family and family friends. So that's all I have for the different aspects of this case. My personal opinion, and by gathering everything up, reading everything carefully, my final conclusion would be that the most possible answer is that Melinda did in fact kill her son and disposed his body in the Ocala National Forest. I don't believe she attended a shooting range because she would have been sighted by someone there. Given the timeline I talked about earlier, with Melinda allegedly threatening Trenton with a knife, holding him upside down over the water, and making other threats to harm him, assuming that is all true, I believe she would be capable of committing this crime if those allegations have merit. You can also watch interviews of Melinda with the press, and she shows little emotion on camera. If anything, she seems to be showing some level of guilt. A week after her son went missing, and either feeling an overwhelming amount of guilt or in fear of being imprisoned, perhaps, she took her own life. Because of the level of emotion she should have displayed after her son went missing, but did not, I believe she was more afraid of prosecution and imprisonment. Her suicide note to the public illustrated her stress toward the public judging her. Her note to the public was full of me's and I's and other first-person references, rather than focusing on her distress in her son's disappearance, although she did make a few mentions of her son going missing. Besides, what parent would kill herself just a week and a half after her only child goes missing? I cannot wrap my head around that. The last thing on my mind would be suicide. How does that help you find your child? Did she think about what her son would feel if he is found and later learned that his mom killed herself? I guess I could understand a parent not being able to take the agony after a period of months or years, but not a week. After all, she was not overwhelmed with grief at any point while on camera. She was not visibly crying, she was not hysterical, and she was not clearly bawling her head off or anything like that. In her suicide note to her nanny and Poppy, she said she killed herself because she can never be a good mother even after her son is found. She also went on to mention that she worked 2 jobs and was going to school, college, and wasn't devoting enough hours, minutes, and seconds to her son on a daily basis.
And see, that there in itself is what has made me stick to my thought that she gave him to somebody else. If you're taking your own life at this point, all no holds barred, there's no coming back from it. What's the damn difference of whether you state he's gone or he's not gone, or he, you know what I'm saying, whether he was killed or he wasn't killed? By her stating that when he comes back or when he's found, she couldn't be a good mother to him then either. That tells me that she knows that he's still alive in some. Otherwise, what? I mean, you know what I'm trying to say, you guys? Does it make sense? Hey, Barb, good to see you, dear.
Hey,
Glad
Barb.
to have
She
you
got
here.
her dryer going. There you go. I'm so proud of her.
I am too. For all.
She fixed the whole thing, every part inside of it.
Yeah, she told me she took the tumbler out, did everything, and I'm like, good for you. I'm proud of you, 100%.
Filled up in that thing.
I mean, she's tiny, she could do that, but still, like, she
Oh,
wasn't
but
giving up
God
on
love
it.
her. She was so tired last night. She's like, I'm sore everywhere. I'm going to bed. I said,
I
good
hope
night.
your hands are getting better, Barb. She's been working on that thing for a minute too, but she did it. Good for you. I
She
am proud of
did.
you, Barb.
She kicked that dryer's crack.
Yes, she
She did
did.
it.
Yes, she did. 100%. Welcome back, Barb. We missed you. But yeah, guys, I can't imagine if this woman knew that she took his life. Okay, she's not going to write that in that note. I don't think. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have came out that way. So in turn, I still feel like that child's alive or was taking, at least at that time, was handed off to somebody else. In my opinion, that's all I'm saying. So.
But if you're gonna take your life and you're gonna hand him off to somebody and then take your life, why call 911?
Well, in the beginning, I don't know that she had it planned like that, Mama Bear. That's the thing. I think that came after the fact, after her, public opinion basically crucified her. And then it became too hard to deal with, per se. I don't think that was the plan initially, was to take her own life. I don't. Arctic said that when he was still up here about her, basically Nancy's interview, which, by the way, Peggy, I don't think that they put it out because of what happened with the girl taking her own life, because it was recorded, but it hadn't been aired yet. So
Yeah, there's like snippets of it.
yeah, there's little pieces here and there and different things, but the whole thing has never been put out because of that situation. So anyway, I know what you're saying, but I don't think that was her plan. I don't think it at all. And I think that all the pressure that she got, like Arctic had said earlier, Nancy's interviews, a few other news interviews, a lot of people were coming down on her, as being involved. And I just think she couldn't handle that. And the other stuff that was probably going on in her head, so on and so forth. And I think that's where that came into play. I don't think that was initially an issue until after the fact, because 2 weeks later is when it happened. So, you know what I mean? If she was if that was part of the plan, she'd have done it a lot sooner, I think. So that's, again, my issue, my opinion. Hey, Sunday, it's good to see you as well. Thank you for being here.
Basis. But what kind of excuse is that to commit suicide? Trenton was in the care of several other relatives at different times in his life. If you won't be a good parent, give him up to relatives. Don't kill yourself. Anyway, so in conclusion, I believe she did kill her son in the wilderness, and she took her own life just a week after he went missing so she wouldn't be prosecuted and heavily ridiculed by the public. I also believe she killed her son as a way to keep him away from his father. I'm not sure what her method of thinking was regarding that theory, but maybe somehow she thought that he would be better off passing away than he would be being raised by his father or something like that. I'm not really sure what logic that may have transpired in her mind with regard to that, but it's not unheard of. There have been cases like that before. Those cases like, if I can't have my children, nobody's going to have my children. I would say in many of those cases, those people have documented mental issues, but it's not completely unheard of. It has happened in the past. I certainly hope I'm wrong about my theory and my assumption on the result of this case. And the police apparently have other beliefs because the case is still open and Trenton's Amber Alert is still active. So, what do you believe happened to little Trenton? Was he the victim of a random kidnapping? Did his mother kill him? Was he a victim of his grandfather's criminal past? Or was he flown out of the country? Or do you have your own theory? You can leave me a comment below in the description, or you can send me an email to disappearedseries@gmail.com.
All right, and that is the rest of it is just other stuff, has nothing to do with this. But I am gonna hold on a minute here. Where is it? 1 second. I'm gonna show you guys the law enforcement video. There's 2 of them that were talking about this.
Good morning. I'm Captain James Pogue of the Marion County Sheriff's Office. I want to welcome, first of all, the family members of Trenton Duckett that are here today. And I'd also like to thank the members of the media for coming and giving us the attention that we believe that Trenton deserves in this investigation. As you know, in the course of this investigation, phone records and witness testimony has brought this investigation into Marion County. Recently, we have a witness from the Wendy's restaurant in Bellevue, Florida, that came forward because of encouragement from her family to step forward and give us a statement that she believed that she saw Melinda Duckett on Sunday, August 27th, around 11:30 a.m. She remembered this, one, because of Melinda's tattoo as she came through the drive-thru, which would have been on her left arm. She also remembered seeing little Trenton in the vehicle, and she asked about his name. When Melinda answered that his name was Trenton, she had an earpiece in her ear, and she said, "Is it Denton?" And Melinda corrected her as she took out her earpiece so that she could hear her more clearly state, "No, his name is Trenton." Just to make sure that there were no indiscrepancies in.
Welcome, Mom. Good to see you. Your link's in Discord if you want it, dear. Yeah, that's one of my biggest thoughts on this too. She threw away his pillow, his toys, his baby pictures. All of it was thrown away. I have issue with that 100%. That tells me she knew he's not coming back, and whether it be because he's deceased or because she gave him to somebody else, and that she knew she was involved. Otherwise, if you weren't involved in this as a parent, you're going to hold on to all those things. Absolutely hold on to all those things. You know what I mean? So something is definitely wrong with that. So I have to agree with you, Mom, on that one. And Mom says also, you don't go to Ocala on holiday. That's Gatorland. There are more bodies there too. Yeah, good point. Very good point. Then in the DMV, Nancy has always been forward, so I think it was a puss move to sue her. Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, your kid is missing. You don't take your own life without guilt eating you from the inside out. Very good point, Mom. See, whether she took the child's life or she handed the child off to somebody else, either way, that's guilt per se. It's going to eat you alive. I agree with you on that one too. So, absolute, Mom. Thank you so much. There's Kimber. How are you, Miss Kimber? Orlando Airport is a national airport. There would be CCTV footage. Agreed with that too. And I just don't think that would have happened the day of. That's stupid for anybody to do that. It makes no sense. So, if anything, it would have been days or weeks afterwards. They would have waited, I think. That's just my opinion. My opinion was that they drove to Canada and went from there, because that's a different story. You know what I mean? Or like they said earlier, different countries, different airports, things like that. So that's my theory on that as well, if it was a possibility. So
In her statement, we did ask her to take a polygraph examination, which she clearly passed without any deception.
And that's the Wendy's worker he's talking about right there.
We believe that it was possible during this time that she may have left that Wendy's and actually met someone to hand Trenton off to another person to take. Because approximately 20 to 30 minutes later, the same Wendy's employee states that Melinda came back through the drive-through again. However, this time, little Trenton was not in the vehicle with her. We know from this investigation that Melinda is a very creative person, a very well planned out person.
Good point, Mom.
Therefore,
For those of you that don't, Mom says we have toll roads there. There would be a way to find the vehicle from the airport to the Georgia-Florida line. That's a really good point, actually. Thank you, Mom.
believe that there was a conspiracy with someone else to possibly keep Trenton away from her father, Josh Duckett. With this, team members of this parallel investigation by the Marion County Sheriff's Office, along with Leesburg Police Department, Lake County Sheriff's Office, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, are prepared to say that little Trenton is alive. Why do we say that? Because no one has proven to us otherwise. It's easier to find a live person than a dead one. And what we want to do is energize people all over the nation to look at every boy that's 2 to 3 years old, look them in the face, and ask themselves, does this look like Trenton Duckett? We are also aware that there are critics out there that will be quick to point the finger at us if Trenton is not found to be alive. If this is the case, then we are fully prepared to regretfully say we were wrong.
And I can go both ways with this, okay? Truly, you guys. But we're 20 years into this now. If he was alive, I think some way, shape, or form, somebody or something would have happened where it would have shown that he was still alive. So I have that in my back of my mind that she did take his life possibly as well. So it goes both directions for me. You know what I mean? And why would you drive to the villages and take your own life? Why wouldn't you do it in your own home? Well, she did it at her grandparents' house. So that is another question. Why didn't she do it in her own home? That's another question I have too. That's a little strange. I don't know what that means or why, but yeah. That's weird to me. That's a good point, Mom. Thank you for that.
The one last thing that I would like to leave with is saying this. If there is a captor and they have little Trenton in their custody, but they're not sure how to get him returned, we want to encourage you to drop him off at a public place, such as maybe a hospital or a fire station or even a police station. Just drop him off somewhere to where we can bring him back home. At this time, I'm going to ask Joshua Duckett if he would come up and say a few words.
I mean, we've stayed confident through all of it. We've stayed confident through the whole investigation so far, and I mean, we continue to stay confident through it. And I mean, this is a renewed effort by law enforcement to get his picture out there, and we've been working all along to do that. We need the help of the public and the media to get his name and his photo out there. I mean, we've believed from the get-go that he's alive and he's well. It's just a matter of finding him. And I think by getting his picture out there that much more, and by getting his name and the word out there and making people realize that we believe he is alive.
Again, Mom says not only that, she drove a complete circle. DeBerry is on the other damn side of where she lived. Leesburg is nowhere near DeBerry, right? Right. Interesting. That is interesting, Mom.
Live, then it'll generate a lot more people to want to help, and a lot more people will keep their eyes out versus not keeping their eyes out. We just need the help of the media and everybody in the community to help us get his name, picture out there. I mean, we need flyers. We need any word that you can spread with his name in it just to get it out there. just thank you to everybody for the support.
We're going to hold all questions to the end, please. Thank you.
Why would you drive north to Ocala, then south to Orlando, and you're taking 3 different highways and interstate to get to Orlando? That's a good point too. That is confusing to me. Interesting point. I'm trying to figure out why too. Like, what's the point behind that? You know what I mean?
At this time, I'd like to introduce to you Major Chris Blair from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. He's the Bureau Chief of the Major Crimes Unit.
Thank you, Jimmy. On behalf of Sheriff Dean and the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
All right. And I don't believe that there are any. Hold on here. I looked earlier, but I haven't. She said she was lost. That's true, Mike. I don't know. I don't know how to take it, but let me see something. The police making the statement that they believe he's alive is a very strong statement too. So there's got to be some piece of some type of information they have to make them say that at that point, at least. I'll say that. Now there was, let me see something here real quick. When I do these cold cases, I try to give you guys every bit of information I can on these so you know exactly what all's going on. So let me see. This was the stuff that was thrown in the trash, and some photos and stuff that were shared at some point. And then there was an update, a slight update a few years back.
Still being called the prime suspect in his
Hold on.
search for missing toddler Trenton Duckett.
Now this came out 17 years ago, August, basically, of the year that he went missing. So, or no, hold on. This was the year after he went missing. I'm sorry.
Today, Leesburg police search for missing toddler Trenton Duckett. Today, Leesburg police revealed there is no evidence showing anybody abducted Duckett back on August 26th of last year. Police also say there's no evidence showing Duckett has been handed off to anybody else, either in this area or around the globe. They think his mother, Melinda, did something to her son, and even after her suicide, she's still being called the prime suspect in his disappearance.
We haven't been given any hard evidence that he's not out there. It's kind of like he disappeared without a trace, you know. So we have to hold on to our faith. We have to, you know, continue until we know what happened to Trenton.
Leesburg police also released pictures of Trenton taken from the trash can outside his mother's apartment to the media for the first time today. Pictures tossed out by a mother who said her son had been taken away from her. West 2 Stephen Stock is live now in our newsroom. Now, Stephen, you've been covering this investigation since the very beginning, and were the first one to report about those recovered pictures about a year ago. Why are they so important?
Well, Wendy, they show what investigators say they believe was Melinda Duckett's state of mind in the minutes and hours after she reported Trenton missing. Sources close to the investigation have insisted to me all along that these pictures found in that dumpster are keys to the investigation because they mark a shift in focus in the investigation from a possible abduction to focusing on Melinda Duckett herself as the source of her son's disappearance. 1 year ago, West 2 News first reported the existence of this key evidence found in the trash dumpster behind Melinda Duckett's Leesburg apartments, Windermere Villas. Evidence found only hours after Melinda had reported her son Trenton as missing, supposedly abducted through a screen window that had been broken or cut by abductors. Now, for the first time, the public gets to see what those investigators first saw in the dumpster. And it doesn't take a detective to understand why it changed the course of this investigation. This evidence photo showing a baby sonogram, a photo of Trenton, and of Melinda Duckett and her then husband, Josh. Baby clothes, birthday cards, a toy box, And inside that box, baby toys, a child's pillow, bed linens, a pink teddy bear, and a note on the teddy bear's foot about Melinda's love for her son, even a half-eaten meal in a discarded child's food bowl. As you look at all of it, it's hard not to draw the same conclusions as the investigators. Investigators who privately told West 2 News the day they found these items that they figured Melinda Duckett knew Trenton was never coming back, that he had no use for the clothes, the bed linens, the toys. Sources say it was clear that in the hours after she reported Trenton missing, Melinda Duckett herself was getting rid of any evidence that Trenton had ever lived there.
And police kept this evidence secret from the public for weeks after it was found in that dumpster. Again, they found it only hours after Melinda called for help. They wanted to continue to use the public to try to get more information about this case. But as you can tell by looking at those pictures yourself, this evidence is very powerful. Evidence that what sources say pointed to Melinda Duckett all along. And by the way, anyone who has any information about Trenton or knows where Trenton may be is asked to call Crime Line. The number on your screen, you can see it right there, 1-800-423-TIPS. Wendy?
Thanks, Stephen.
You bet.
Okay, everybody. Welcome back, Arctic.
Hey.
Okay. Well, that's everything, you guys. Oh, no, it's not. I'm sorry. I had this other thing in queue. Hold on. Sorry, I've been being talked to in my ear. Mrs. Dago's birthday is February 3rd, and her mom and the kids and myself are trying to do some kind of a surprise thing for her. So people keep running up and talking to me in my ears, so my apologies. Yes, I'm Batman. Sorry, Lisa. Where did it go? I just pulled it up. Summona, Mumina. Oh, where did it go? Hang on. One second. Oh, this was it here. Hold on. Okay, so this was put out 5 years ago as an update. I don't believe you guys.
The family of a missing 2-year-old. Tonight, new hope for the family.
And if you have, my apologies.
Family of a missing 2-year-old. Trenton Duckett vanished 13 years ago in Leesburg.
Now, a national organization has released a brand new tool to help find out what happened to him. News 6's Eric Sandoval is in the studio with the new developments in this cold case. Eric?
Yeah, this captured national attention when it happened, guys. Trenton Duckett, as they just mentioned, was 2 years old when he went missing. This is a picture of him right here. Now he would be a teenager. We spoke with his father tonight. He says this new picture is actually giving him hope that he may get the answers he's been waiting for. This is what the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children thinks Trenton Duckett could look like today. He would be 15 years old.
And this was 5 years ago, so he'd be 20 right now, just so you guys know.
News 6 followed law enforcement from across Central Florida back in 2006 as they searched for the missing 2-year-old on land and in the water in Lake County. Investigators say he was last seen with his mother, Melinda. She committed suicide just weeks after he vanished.
Obviously, it gives us hope.
Trenton's father, Josh Duckett, spoke to us by phone. He says age progression photos like his son's are generated about every 2 years.
Hey, Miss Paula. Good to see you, dear. I was worried about you. I'm glad to see you here today. Every time I start worrying about her, she shows up. It's like you have that mental telepathy thing going on or something. No, I definitely already have it written down here on a postie, Miss Barb, 29th at 6:30, unless you change it. 6 or 6:30. It was 6:30, I believe. I'm ready to go, dear. 100%. So, absolutely. And yeah, Mom, going back to what you said, I agree. They if they would have arrested Melinda earlier on, because they had the ability to do it once they realized that she did the MySpace thing, they should have done it then and held her possibly for that, and maybe there'd be other answers possibly. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
absolutely. I mean, they shouldn't have ever let her go once they figured out that she was the one behind the MySpace stuff, in my opinion. I mean,
that would have. I think we would have had answers to this already, whether he was deceased or whether he was handed off to somebody, because that would have been the end of it right there. I think so. There's that, and she wouldn't have lost her life either, because regardless of what happened, people, that just doesn't need to happen that way. That's my opinion. But thanks, SRB. Again, guys, check out Miss Barb's channel, Timmy's Legacy. There's the link for it. It is a great channel, and it's going to be a great thing. So please go check it out whenever you get a chance, please. Thank you. So yeah, I do agree with that. And again, going back to something Arctic screams to the heavens about, folks, on about, I don't know how many different cases we've looked at, where these kids are reunited with their families, and then things like this happen because that child was taken away from her at one point in time and then reunited. The court system's reunited, and then what happened shortly thereafterwards? Here we are. You know what I mean? So it's something else, in my opinion, that needs to be looked into a little bit deeper before they just start sending these children back to these families that they take them from for a reason. It doesn't make sense. He'd probably still be with us. It could still be with us if they would have done that a little bit more responsibly, in my opinion. That's what I thought, Barb. Thank you, hon. So don't forget, guys, to tune in Wednesday, the 29th at 6:30 p.m. to Timmy's Legacy. I'll be joining Miss Barb over there. It's going to be a great show. It always is with her. So I hope to see all of you guys there Wednesday night at 6:30. Looking forward to it, Barb, as always.
Yes, and February 1st, her and I are going to Fredericktown, and I will be going live from Fredericktown, showing Barbara doing her thing.
Then I will, if you don't mind, I'll go live and I'll share that as well while you're doing it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I think that it will be super good for people to get the whole picture of what's going on, the officers, and I'm also going to be asking for some stickers and some child things for Jaden Donaldson while I'm there.
Yeah,
so
that's a big one.
It's a win-win, and Barb is safe, and that's my number one priority is her safety. So
that would be awesome. That we can just share it to everybody then, so everybody can see what
Barb
goes on.
deserves it. Barb deserves this. She deserves
100%, 100%. Lisa, it'll be February 1st for that one. Doodle's talking about.
I'm not sure exactly what time. I'll probably record it, and then Barb and I will figure. I may go live, but she may prefer me to we'll talk about it, and I'll let you know for sure if it's a live deal or if it'll be a video. But I think live would work better just out of safety reasons.
And if it's live, then I can share it live as well.
Yeah.
Spread it live too while everybody's there. So either way.
Yep.
Whatever works best for you guys. I'm 100% behind you to help you with it. So whatever is the best way to do it. Yes, they do. Yes, they do, Mom. Absolutely. That's what our Arctic says, Nancy, all the time. And it ends up being a detrimental situation in a bad way. Court system reunited me and my life got worse. I can totally speak on it over and over. If it helps those kids, I agree with you. Every time he's made many statements about this. They take children from a bad situation, they do what they're doing, and then they reunite them into that situation, and either the child ends up deceased or something worse happens leading to that situation. It's not I mean, speak on it, dude. You say it all the time.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And the thing is that the rules and regulations for the CPS system haven't really changed all that much since the 1960s. And until everyone starts raising a fuss on National Children's Day every year, then nothing's going to ever change, because what happens is these CPS workers, they're overloaded. That's not an excuse, but it's just a fact. and they make these damn mistakes to try to get caseload lightened and stuff, and children end up dying. And then what happens? They get a slap on the wrist, they get put on probation with pay, and then they're back doing their job as if nothing ever happened. So,
and they move on and do it to another child, another case, another situation. Lisa said Oakley Carlson. I mean, how many? And Mom's right. Reunification. Yeah. Let's try that one more time.
Mama said.
I don't even know what the hell I just said. Reunification is bullshit. I don't have enough room to type all the names of these kids that are still right. And that's what I'm saying. How many cases have we looked at that this has happened? And now we're talking about that child. I mean, there's Oakley's just one. There's so many different versions of this that's happened, and it's ridiculous. Not to mention the CPS workers here that were fired for faking home visits. Another situation, yes, that they're just because they don't have the time to work it into their schedule, they just write in that they did it. Everything's fine. And then what happens? That child's either harmed or worse. And they lied about it, and they could have stopped the situation by doing what they were doing. There's so many of them I can't even think of, you guys. Yeah, they took, and that's the other side of it too. And that's something else Arctic had said multiple times. They take these kids out of a situation that's horrible. They put them into a home that they're being loved and cared for.
And then they get sent right back to the very people that made their lives hell to begin with. And Oakley is a prime example, Lisa Joe, because her foster parents loved her. She was their whole world, and now she's gone, and they're completely devastated. And they've certainly put forth every bit of effort, and still are to this day, trying to find out what happened to their baby girl.
100%. You
I
guys,
can only imagine when it comes even to Preston, his egg donor. If she would even like try this nonsense, I don't know what I would do. So my heart.
Oh my God,
so bad. Oh my God, I wouldn't.
the situation you found, the way you found your grandson.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, you guys! I could never imagine something like that. That's why Doodle is so protective over this child. I mean, she loves him, of course, but the way it all happened was just horrible. And I'm not going to get into that. I'm just telling you, these situations happen because other people are dropping the ball over here. Okay.
And the scariest part for me was the 7-hour drive to McAllister, Oklahoma. That was 7 hours one way, and then so for 7 hours, I'm freaking out and speeding like a
Not
crazy
knowing.
person,
Not knowing what you're going to
So,
walk into, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I feel for them. I can't. Fostering is hard, and to send them back, and then this happened. Oh, they have to just be.
I'll never. Right. I don't get it. You don't take a child out of a horrifying situation and put them into a home where a family is loving them, caring for them, and needing them in their lives, and giving that child exactly what it should have had the whole time. And you snatch that child from that safety, that security, and that stability, and throw that child back into that disaster. And then they either disappear or they lose their life. Now you tell me.
They probably just got Oakley to where she was comfortable, and that's the only life she knows because she was so small. That is her parents. In her eyes, that was her parents. They loved her. They showed her the parenting. And now look. Oh,
Yep.
that's breaking.
And it's not always fostering and stuff, but there's other situations. The Montgomery situation is a problem for me. That shouldn't have happened the way that did. There's a lot of different things in these different cases that are like that, but it all comes down to somebody dropping the ball somewhere and screwing up and not being there for that child and failing on all aspects. And most of these kids are failed from everyone. Okay. So that's got to stop. It has to. If they're taking them out of a bad situation, there's a reason. Don't put them back. When you don't throw something back into the fire once you've taken it out of there from being burnt, guys, you just don't. It pisses me off to no end. All right, I was just double checking the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Gives us just that much more that helps keep his name and his info out there and continue helping with the search for him.
It's a search that he says continues, even 13 years later.
We've never given up, and we're not going to now. We've stayed strong since day one, and we know that there's answers. We prepare ourselves for the worst and hope for the best.
Now, Duckett and investigators are trying to get this new picture circulated as much as possible. If you think you know where Trenton Duckett may be, or better yet, have information on where he may be, don't hesitate. They say call 911 or the Leesburg Police Department immediately.
And that is it for that. That's all I have on that, guys. There's no other there's no new updates or anything on this, sadly. And as far as, like I said, the hold on a second here. Where are we at here? Oh. Okay, hold sorry, hold on. Well, I guess it states that Nancy Grace was found guilty for that. I didn't realize that. I forgot I was going to show you guys this too, because a couple of people had brought us into question.
New claims from CNN talk show host Nancy Grace. She now says that the mother of missing toddler Trenton Duckett prepped for her TV interview and wasn't caught off guard at all. Duckett's estate is suing Grace, accusing her of driving Melinda to suicide. West 2's Gail Pascal-Brown is live in the newsroom with the late-breaking details. Gail?
Well, Jim, as you mentioned in the family's lawsuit, they contend Melinda Duckett was ambushed and pushed over the edge on the Nancy Grace show back in 2006. Now, this motion, this particular exhibit, says that Trenton Duckett's mother had prepared responses to questions ranging from her interaction with local law enforcement to taking the...
Because that's a thing, you guys. If I'm right, and Arctic Mom, you guys could probably correct me on this one. When they do these interviews ahead of time, they send them or give them some kind of an email or something, knowing what you're going to be talking about, right or wrong.
Not always. I mean, there's been shows like Dr. Phil and stuff that have ambushed them with questions before. And Nancy, quite frankly, in my opinion, seems the type that would ambush someone. So.
Okay. See, I thought that they had to give you some kind of like a transcript or something to know what you're going to be doing, but okay, then my apologies. That's why I was asking that question. I was not 100% sure. Okay.
Polygraph.
The documents recovered by then lead investigator Leesburg Police Detective Richard Giles includes information from Melinda Duckett's laptop and scripted responses for the Nancy Grace interview. According to the court records, the talking points, which say, from a mother's point of view, include the following topics: husband, emotions, suspects, coping with. Where Melinda Duckett writes, honestly, there is no actual coping in this matter. My son is my life, and with him gone, the only thing I can do is exist.
Why aren't you telling us and giving us a clear picture where you were before your son was kidnapped?
Hours before this interview aired September 7th, 2006 on CNN's Nancy Grace show, Melinda Duckett committed suicide at her grandparents' home. In their lawsuit, Melinda Duckett's family claims Nancy Grace and her staff lured Duckett to the show on false pretenses, then subjected her to severe emotional distress with their aggressive line of questioning, which led to Trenton Duckett's mother to commit suicide. In a previous interview, Nancy Grace has said she has no regrets.
No, I do not. I only wish that I could have questioned her more.
Attorneys for Nancy Grace wants a federal judge to throw out the family's wrongful death lawsuit, citing Melinda Duckett was prepared with talking points and scripted her own performance.
We tried today reaching attorneys on both sides of this lawsuit, but to no avail. Trenton Duckett was reported missing in August of 2006. The boy remains missing. Live in the newsroom, I'm Gail Pascal-Brown, West 2 News. Jim.
There's that for those of you that had questions about that. I agree with you, Barb. She would definitely give Nancy a run for her money. Like I said, that's all I have on that so far. There's no there are no new updates on that, sadly. In all, there was a video put out about a faked abduction, but I don't follow along with any of that, so I'm not even going to play that to you guys. That's all I can think of at this point. I have two thoughts on this, and it's pretty much all there is that I don't believe anybody took him from the home. I believe that she either took his life, whether it was accidentally or on purpose, or she handed, and I lean more towards this next one, that she handed him off to somebody else. Okay, just based on her interviews, things she said in the note, things like that. I just feel like she handed him off to somebody else, and that there is a very huge likelihood that he's still there, alive and well, and doesn't have any clue. Like Arctic said earlier, he was 2 years old when this happened, guys. He could have no idea who he is and not even know. You know what I mean? And the age progression thing, at this point, they haven't showed one since he was 15. That's what he would have looked like at 15. 5 years later, you're 20. Things change in 5 years a lot, guys, especially as you're getting to that age. A whole lot. So he could look completely different than that photo we saw as far as the progression one goes, and still not know who he is. And think about it. At 2 years old, he'd have never known what his original name was. If he's got a different name and all that stuff, he may not even be in this country. That's the other side of that too. So who knows? Or he could be living right underneath everybody's nose, and his name is John Smith. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows. There's one person out there that knows besides him, or besides, well, there's two people out there. Whoever had him, if he was handed off to somebody else, whoever has him or had him, and whoever handed him off, she's gone. So there's no answer there. They should, but I don't pretend to know what state of desperation I would be in if my child was missing. That's a good point. Or is that a second half to something else you said, Lisa?
They should know what to expect if they've ever watched the Nancy Grace show, but you don't know what state of desperation a person's in if their child's missing trying to get coverage.
That's a good point. That is a good point. At some point, yeah, but it also, Barb, realized that there could be documents that were created for this child if it was the real situation. Now, there was, she was being looked into for embezzling a lot of money from the bank she worked at, which is why she lost her job. She left $900 for her grandparents when she did this. There could have been a lot more that she handed over to somebody else to change this baby's life and to give him a whole different life. New documentation. It happens every day. Birth certificates, social security cards, things, so on and so forth. They do it all the time. So it could be out there. But yeah, I agree. Their driver's license and all the things you need in life. Somewhere along the lines, it's gonna back itself up though, and it'll eventually come out. I'm somewhere, but I don't know. I just don't know. Lisa said that she had to go to the state and get a new birth certificate because she believed she was. Oh, you're talking about another case. I'm sorry, hon. Talking about Oakley's case, or no, Melissa Highsmith. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it happens. I understand, Paula. I understand. Doodle, Mama Bear, Arctic, anything else to add to this?
No,
it's just one of those wild cases, guys. I honestly think that would be sitting somewhere with more information now had they not let her go when they found out that she was behind the MySpace messages. And we may not even be talking about Trenton had they done that.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. It's very sad, too. Very sad. These ones bug me. Mama Bear, you said no. You have nothing to add to it?
Nope.
And, of course, Doodle?
No.
Nope. Doodle the llama cop. Llama.
Molly made that.
That's cute. I love it. I just want to let you all know it's good to be back. I can You got to stay away from them washing machines and them dryers, Barb. She wasn't gonna let that thing. She wasn't gonna stop till that was done, and she made it happen. I had this vision when she was telling me about it. I was laughing my ass off of her crawling her little self inside that drum and trying to work on this and that and everything else, and I can just envision it. It was so funny to me. I'm glad you got it handled, Barb. Very much so. There's Tomboy. Hey, good to see you, Tomboy. So that is today's coffee and a cold case for you today. Trenton Duckett, he's still not been found, whether it be remains or himself. Nobody knows. There's still no answers. And his father is still out there anticipating finding something out and hoping that this child's still alive and he'll come home one day. And for his sake, I hope he does. I do. It's a hell of a story, you guys. It's very, very wild, and I thought everybody would be interested in this one for sure. But at the same time, it's very, very sad. So there's that. Very much so. Arctic, do you have anything planned coming up that you want to put out there anytime soon?
Not anything right offhand. I've got to get some more cold cases recorded. Hopefully, I'll have some later this week.
Okay. Now, with that being said, I wanted to hold on a minute here. Do a few more of these, and then we'll be at the end of the show, folks.
Oh no, Tomboy, that's not good. Woke up with 102 fever.
You can't stay healthy to save your life, Tomboy. She's been sick more in the past 2 months than I've been for 2 years. Good Lord. I hope you feel better. Yeah, very much so. I hope you feel better soon, dear. Very much so. All right, give me a second, folks. I'm going to throw a few more of these shorts up that we like to throw up here for the missing as well.
Just from the flu.
And if any of these have been found since, let me know, please. Hold on here. Oh, okay, I understand, Tomboy.
Is Arctic Fox. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the missing persons case of William Hart, who is missing out of East Liverpool, Ohio. William has been missing since the 22nd of November 2021. At the time of his disappearance, he was 5 feet tall and weighed 125 pounds with strawberry blonde hair and blue eyes. The Hancock County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in locating the missing man. William was last seen in East Liverpool, Ohio on the 22nd of November 2021. He had been taken by ambulance to the East Liverpool City Hospital in East Liverpool. The hospital notified law enforcement that William had left the hospital, and he was later seen by East Liverpool police on the highway, where he jumped a fence and headed towards the riverbank. William has not been seen or heard from since. He was last seen wearing a black snap-on hoodie, a white ball cap worn backwards. William walks with a limp and has tooth decay. He has multiple tattoos, including musical notes on his forehead, the name Serena on the right side of his neck, and the words "no fear" or "fear no evil" across his fingers. Anyone with information on William or his whereabouts is asked to contact the Hancock County Sheriff's Office at 304-564-3911.
This is only a half hour away from me. I was wondering. But this was in 2021, huh? All right. Thank you, bud, for that one.
What is going on, guys? This is Arctic Fox. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the missing persons case of 17-year-old Addison Balaguin, who is missing out of Hawarden, Iowa. Addison is 5'3" tall and weighs 105 pounds with sandy brown hair and blue eyes. The Union County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in locating the missing teenager from Union County, South Dakota. Addison was last seen at a city park in Hawarden, Iowa on the 13th of January 2025. She is believed to have been picked up between 4:07 and 4:16 p.m. She left her car and cell phone Addison's status has been upgraded to an endangered missing person. She is possibly in the Norfolk, Nebraska area or en route to the state of Texas. She was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt, black leggings, and white Nike shoes. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Union County Sheriff's Office at 605-356-2679. What is going on, She's been guys? found.
The
Empress
last
has
one
been located.
Okay, good deal.
Empress has been located.
Gotcha.
What is going on, guys? This is Arctic Fox. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the missing persons case of 14-year-old Aubrey Weaver, who is missing out of Pace, Florida. Aubrey is 5'10" tall and weighs 120 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in locating the missing teenager. Aubrey was last seen at her home in Pace, Florida on the 24th of January, 2025. Aubrey has a seizure disorder called pseudo-seizures. She also had a traumatic brain injury from a car accident, and according to her family, Aubrey has the mental capacity of an 11-year-old and can be easily manipulated. Aubrey's family is extremely concerned for her safety and her well-being. Anyone who has any information on Aubrey or her whereabouts is asked to contact the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office at 850-983-1190.
All right, guys. Thank you, Arctic, for doing those every single day. I appreciate you very much. And if anybody has any information on any of those, or you recognize the faces or anything, or anyone that you know of that's missing, please contact the local authorities and or 911 and give them a heads up, if you will, please. Again, there's Arctic's link for anybody that has not subscribed, which I doubt there's anybody. But if you haven't, please do hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss anything. And share all these out, if you will, guys, across all your social media platforms. They're very important, right along with Doodlebugs, of course. Miss Sherry Wisdom Speaks has a bunch that she does as well. Miss Duchess, Mind of Monsters. All of these people that put out all these missing links, and the ones that I put out as well. Of course, the ones that I show you from Nancy Drew. They're all still very important that they get shared as often as possible, you guys, so that we can hopefully bring some of these missing people home, give some closure at least to some of their family members, if nothing else. So that'll do it for those, and that should bring it towards the end. By the way, I got a response, or I got a message from Mocking Media, and said thank you. It's very hold on, I'll read it to you guys real quick here. I'm sorry. 1 second. Or maybe I won't. It wants to, because I already
Tomboy, tell Tandy the next time that she's, out target practicing, not to do it next to the bedroom window.
Who?
I was joking.
Oh, I didn't
Tomboy
see.
woke. She said, plus the stress of being abruptly woke up from 22 shots fired right outside our bedroom window last night. I said, next time tell Tandy to, not do target practice right outside the bedroom window.
Yeah, where do you live at? You live near a range or something? That's crazy. But I hope you do feel better. I'm having a good show, Walt. I didn't see you here though, sir. Probably working.
Critical Mind said Aubrey Weaver was found.
Yes, I just seen that. Thank you for that. So that's good. There we go. There we go. Good stuff, you guys. Good stuff. And I will be back out here in a little bit, not too long from now. I'm gonna run that show I was gonna run the other day. Hopefully, if I can get everybody together for it. And I think that we're busy. Yeah, that's what I figured. No worries, bro. No worries.
So what was the message for Mocking Media before you forget?
Oh, yeah. Because I did forget. Thank you. See, that's why you were so amazing to me. Thank you. They said they're very humbled from all of our support. And thank you very, very much to everyone for supporting them. And I said, we thank you for everything you do, because you know, they put a smile on our face every time we get to watch one of those.
Yep.
I said, so keep up the great work. You're loved by all. And I said, thank you once again. So
Very cool.
yeah. God, that was so funny yesterday. So funny. That everyone, I wish they do one a day. I'd love to see one every single day. I know it's a lot of work, but damn.
Oh, as soon as I get one of their notifications, I'm dropping it in the back chat saying, "Yep, we got another one to watch."
Yeah, wait. None of us. It seems like none of us can wait to watch the damn things. They're so funny. It's great. And I get excited, giddy like a little kid waiting to watch their CBS after school special or whatever. You know what I mean? That's how it's hilarious. Yeah, one a day would be great, Nancy. I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's a lot of work though to think about. So, all right, guys. I think that's gonna do it for today. Mama Bear, thank you for joining me. Doodle, again, thank you for joining me. An amazing job this morning, guys. Please again go check out Doodle every morning.
Thank you.
What time do you start them, Doodle? For sure. Go ahead and let everybody know.
9 a.m. Monday through Friday.
What time is that time span?
9 a.m. Central.
That's 9 Central, so it's 10 Eastern and
11
8
Pacific. Is that right?
Yeah.
There you go. 9 Central, 10 Eastern, and 11 Pacific. There we go. So go check those out. Missing in the Morning. And she does an amazing job with that, guys. Please and thank you. I'm going to try to ensure that I get my butt over there too.
I try to keep it only an hour. That way it's just an easy get it done in an hour. And if somebody wants to rewatch, if they miss, it's not really long if they wanted to catch up.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, Mama Bear, since you have this extra time going on, are you going to be doing anything with your channel now? Anymore, I should say.
I was going to ask her the same thing.
Possibly. I got to figure out some things first.
Okay.
You could be dual streaming and getting some watch hours up.
Well, that's what I was asking for, and that goes for Arctic and you, of course. You guys are all welcome to do that if you have the
I don't
ability
know how to do it.
I'll show you how. It's no big deal. I'll show you how.
Okay.
If you have the StreamYard situation set up like that, it's very easy to do. You just click a button and boom. And that it'd be helpful in a lot of ways that way too. And you get, your views, so on and so forth. I don't really care about what I get on that end. I'm doing fine. So I would love to be able to help with that for sure. Same with Arctic, but like he said, he doesn't have that extended version of that or whatever. But if we work it out, we can figure it out.
That dang StreamYard deal that's like $48 before you can actually will allow you to stream to your own thing. So that's where they get you.
It is just for what I have, it's so ridiculous now. It's almost $50 a month, you guys.
Yeah, that's what I have. That's nuts.
Right. And when I started with this, first off, I started on the free end of it, and then I jumped up to the next level, which was $27 or $28 a month. And it gave you a bunch of stuff, which I didn't even use all of that then. And then it was like a year later, I went in because I had never messed with it. I automatically would just fall back onto the free aspect of it if I had to.
Right.
And then something happened, and I went to use that one time, and it said I couldn't. And I looked at it, and it went up almost doubled in price. And I'm like, what the hell?
I was going to say, I probably need to look at mine because last I knew I was on the free one. So.
Yeah, and it's just because everybody's using it now. It's so expensive. They know it's in demand, and that's ridiculous. And I would have went.
They knew it. They knew what they were doing.
100%. I would have went to OBS if it wasn't such a pain in the butt, and you didn't have to layer so many different things. Streamlabs, I've never looked at. Mom says it's free.
Oh God, I just figured out StreamYard. I don't know if I could handle trying to figure out something else.
I don't know how hard Streamlabs is. That's why I stuck with StreamYard, because it was simple. It was very easy to do. Boom, 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 and you're there. And you only got to link it when you start it off in the morning, or start it off whenever you start your show. Just link it real quick and you're done.
I think I overthink it. I know I'm an overthinker, but StreamYard was never boom, boom, boom for me. It was like,
well, StreamYard's easier than Streamlabs. That's for damn sure.
Okay, I gotta stick with this then.
Do not even try to go towards OBS if you had troubles with StreamYard, because OBS, to me,
that was like, it was all foreign to me. It was a mess trying to figure my stuff out.
I tried to use it once, and my computer laughed at me. So, because I didn't do anything right, I'm telling you right now. And it just became a whole, I was all confused and discombobulated, and I said, nope, I'm done. I go back to StreamYards and I'm good. It's easier that way. So, but yeah, OBS is really cool though, guys. You can do a bunch of different things with it, and it's all, graphic wise, it's really neat in that. But you got to layer these things and make sure this works that way and goes in here and goes there. You need this to run that and that to run this. It's like, nope, too much for me. I do too. I like the way everything looks on OBS. It's great. It's you could do really professional looking stuff on it, but getting used to it, I got to get in the door, Mom. That's the whole problem. I can't even get through the door. I'm a ding dong. Sorry. I think I'm going to go make kindness kits, put in my truck. Okay. Well, enjoy doing that. I hope you feel better, dear. Like I said, guys, I'll be back out here a little bit later, a few hours, and hope to see you guys then. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I appreciate you very much. Again, Arctic Mom and Doodle, it's always an honor to have you here. I appreciate all three of you very much. Everybody in chat, don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Don't change a thing, because you guys are the beautiful people, and we will see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Take care.
Life's a journey. Let's make every moment shine. Together we share our hearts so intertwined. Each time you tune in, we're dancing in sync. With every story told, just let your soul think. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you.